Okay, and we should be live. Let me just go ahead and pull everything up, make sure everything's working. There we go. Okay, yeah, no, we are here starting with Twofold. I'm so excited for that. Obviously, before we get into that, we just got some yapping to do, which, you know, I love our little yap sessions, especially when they go on for nearly 2 hours. Those are always the funnest ones. IMO. Granted, I don't have as much time to do that kind of yap session today, because it's a little bit late my time. We're starting this a little bit later. I'm just quickly pulling up everything to make sure I can tweet this out right proper, let people know what we're doing. I have this muted, right? Ew, gross. Ew, get out of here. There we go, muted. That way I can get the link from this very easily. Copy. Oh, there it is. I had 3 different tabs open for Twitter. One, what's this other one on? Oh, one's on a artwork of Rye from the Headwell Lost that I really liked and want to respond to. Another one's of the Happy Birthday Aspen post, which is just, she's just her, man. She's just her, and it's like such gorgeous art. It's such gorgeous art. And then there's the actual one of that we need to do where I tweet everything out. There we go. We have posted that we are going live. Let me come back over here really quick. Pop, 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 pop. There we go. So, quick little updates before we get into this. The main update is, I thought the last time we talked about it might be either the last time we talk about the mouse invasion, or we would be very, very close to the end. I thought that we had taken care of the problems. I thought that we had fixed everything. No. Right before I started stream, I was out on the couch in a main room of the house where I was just doing some stretches and stuff, after I got done working for the day. I was using my ice roller, which is the best thing ever, by the way. If anyone has any kind of muscle pains or anything like that, just get yourself an ice roller. I'm not gonna say it'll fix your issues, but it feels really nice. So just get yourself one of those. But as I was sitting there going about all that, just listening to some stuff on the YouTubes and whatever, I just see a little mouse zip out of the closet in that room and run straight back into the kitchen. So not only does that mean that there's still at least bare minimum 1 mouse in the house, the cat litter barriers are no longer working. I think it might have been too long. I think I need to replenish them. I think it's just been up for too long and they figured out a way around it. You know what I mean? So I definitely need to do something about that. And I just don't. I think I'm gonna look up. I think mice hate the smell of cinnamon, I think was what I was looking up. I think that's what I found. There's that. I think they also hate the smell of peppermint, so I'm also going to get that. And just coat the house in it. Just coat the house, see if I can flush them out of wherever they're hiding. Because I tried chasing the mouse into the kitchen to find wherever they're hiding at, just so I could know where to flush them out of. You know, because I had the garage door right there, and I could have that open to see if they'll run out kind of thing, but I actually need to know where they are to try to flush them out of their hiding spots and into an area. You know what I mean? It'd be a little easier to do that way instead of just being all right, I'm just going to spray peppermint somewhere in here and hope that I get them, essentially, because there's a lot of places they could be hiding in the kitchen, especially because it doubles as a area for the furnace and a laundry room, so there's a lot of places they could be hiding and squeezed back into that I need to figure out. But yeah, that's the main update with that. Honestly, I think that might be all in terms of updates. There's not too much. One other thing is that I want to talk a little bit about the content that we're going to be doing coming up over the next little bit. Just because we're getting into spooky month, my favorite time of the year, and we're also doing something a little bit different tomorrow. We're going to be reacting to some animatics of Epic the Musical, which is the biggest thing ever that I just was never a part of. It's so huge. I'm sure I got someone to start listening to it, and they were oh, I've never heard of Epic the Musical. And then once I start listening to it, oh my gosh, I've heard all of these songs on TikTok, and I'm yeah, that's where you hear them at. That's where you hear them at. It's awesome. So I've become completely and totally obsessed with that. It's literally all I listen to when I go for drives now, because I just love it so much. So that's what we're going to be reacting to and ranking tomorrow. And then I was you know, I'm not really going to be able playing any horror games this October, which makes me really sad, because October's my, you know, I do love my Decembers. December might be my favorite month my entire desk just creaked at me. That was very scary. Oh no, this isn't that old of a desk. Please don't be breaking down at me. That was scary. But like December is probably my favorite month of the year, just because I like the holiday seasons. I like all the lights being up. I like people doing a lot of stuff like their families. You know, it just like encourages people like do stuff with the people that they love, and I really like the vibes of it all. I love the snow, even if sometimes it makes driving very deadly. I still love it regardless of all that. But October's a very solid second place. I love October. I love Spoopy month. I love like just about everything horror. I love horror movies. I love horror games. I love horror visual novels, or like stuff with like horror aspects to them. Like we got done reading The Headwell Lost on Sunday, which if you guys haven't seen or read that, just check it out. It's so good. It's so good. I'm so sad. We have a little bit left, like bonus content left on that, and I'm so sad to see it go because we've just been reading it for so long, and I've just loved every second of it. But one of the endings to that game is like, it's like borderline horror, if not just like a very horrific thing that happens. Like this is, I love this right now. But yeah, no, I just love everything to do with horror. And I was like, you know, like last October, I basically streamed almost every day just playing like horror games and stuff like that. I won't be able to do that this year because my hands are still recovering. Like maybe if there was like a really good like horror RPG out there, I'm sure that those exist. I'm pretty sure I've heard I think like Parasite Eve, I think might be like a horror RPG, but even then I'm like, I don't know. I'm not really feeling that specifically, so I'm like, I think this year we're just going to be rereading some horror based visual novels, and then we're also going to be reacting to some spoopy videos. So I was like, you know, I'm already going to be reacting to Epic tomorrow. I might as well just keep the reaction train going for a little bit longer and do some like spoopy videos, you know? I already have one lined up. It's like my favorite YouTube channel, basically my favorite YouTube channel. Like there was a time where I was like really, really down in the dumps, like at a really low place, and then I started watching them. I'm like, dang, these videos slap. This is the best horror channel on YouTube. I need to share this with the world, even though they're so much bigger than I am. Chances are, if you're watching me react to it, you've already heard or seen someone else react to them because they are huge. But I really want to react to them because I haven't watched all their videos because I'm like, I need to go into some of these blind. I can't watch all of them. And then outside of that, in terms of like, because I don't want to turn into like a reaction stream channel, you know, something that does that a lot. I think outside of that, like after Spoopy Month, the only things left I'd want to really react to would be like Genshin demo trailers, the rest of the Honkai ones, and starting on ZZZ, just because like ZZZ is like huge, and like people say that it's just the most budget video game ever. Like everything about it's just like as big and like full of like production value as can be. So I'm like, I'm really excited to get into those. Mostly because people really, really seem to like the character demos. And I've seen little snippets and I'm like, go to horny jail, but I see why. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to get into like all of that kind of stuff. But that's basically going to be the gist of it. Again, we're like, I'm still going to try and like center October around doing like horror-esque stuff, you know? And you know, if miraculously my hands heal, then we will be playing horror games. Like, hang on, I have a bunch pulled up. I have a bunch. I have so many downloaded. I've really been wanting to replay all of the Resident Evils. I have the first remake downloaded and like ready, which I haven't played yet. Same thing with the original 4. I have all those. We never finished Soma. That's literally an OBS. I used to like change the scene that like captured all of the video games, like not the display capture, but the game capture from like I changed the name from like whatever game I'm playing to that, and then it got stuck as Soma, and I was like, you know, I'll leave it as that, so then when I come back and finish it, I don't have to like change anything. Dog, we started Soma like in like last December or something like that. I don't know if we're gonna be coming back to it. I don't know. Like obviously, like once I get my hands back and working, we'll be coming back to like Miles Morales and stuff like that, because that stuff I really was enjoying. But Soma, I was like, I don't know. It was neat. I definitely wasn't scared while playing it though, you know. And then we have so many more like Cry of Fear, Song of Horror, After Hours, Remains of Edith Finch. Subnautica was a big one, a huge one that I was really looking forward to playing because I have just the worst fear of the ocean. I'm so scared of the water, just any body of remotely deep water, and I I just can't handle it, you know. So I really want to play that game because I love the feeling of like fear and like a safe environment. That's why I like horror games. So I know that that will like ruin me in the fun way though, in the best way possible. That will completely ruin me. So I really want to play that game. So I'm like, again, if by some miracle I'm somehow better by then, we will be jumping into a bunch of horror games because, like, again, like, light playing of some RPGs is about all I can handle right now. That and visual novels. Because surprisingly, visual novels are very easy on the hands when you really only need to click, like, a button every couple of seconds, you know? It's very easy on the body. So I really appreciate that. But yeah, no, I still want to, again, October's like the second best month of the year. I want to have it very horror focused. That's the plan. That's the game plan, baby. But yeah, I think with that being said, there's really not too much else to update on. Again, we did a very long yap session on Sunday. Again, I think it was almost 2 hours long. Hence why we still even have stuff left over to talk about, or more of like the Headwell loss to go through this upcoming Sunday, is just because we just yapped and I loved it. It's so much fun. I love when it is just like when there is a bunch of stuff to talk about and we just get to sit down and talk about it all. I love those. But I think, yeah, no, with that all being said, let's just go ahead and jump on into it. I need a, oh, speaking of Soma, I haven't changed Soma to Twofold. It was still on the Headwell Lost. There we go. Let's do some just live. Oh, there we go. We're just gonna do some live editing really quick. Hang on. Let's just go like that. What was the command? Hang on. I want to just double check something really quick while since we're just booting up the game basically. Let's just go ahead and bloop. Oh, no. I remember how to do this. But I can't do it while we're streaming. While we're streaming, I can't really change the stuff. So we're gonna have these black bars on the side. That's totally fine. It doesn't bother me at all. So we're just gonna go with it. You know, we're just gonna go with it because I don't care. And isn't that what matters the most? So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and go like that, and then like that, and then let's just go ahead and jump on into it. Sorry, I bumped the mic. I do that. I sit close to the mic like how you're supposed to. But then I don't always start off with the headphones on. So then whenever I start like doing stuff like adjusting my headphones and stuff, I always end up punching it. I need to start thinking and remembering, oh yeah, there's a thing there. Now I do want to mention we do have this very beautiful cursor, but I like playing with controllers. Oh, wait, I just had a thought. Hang on. I'll be right back. I just wanted to grab something to put on my lap. Whoop. Womp, womp. Shake it out to make sure there are no mice in it. We are clean. It is very, very, very hot in this room where I am streaming at, but that is a-okay. I have a big A blanket on my lap now to make it more comfortable to do this at. And you know what? That's what matters to me is if I'm comfortable, you know? Even if I do end up overheating at some point, I was comfortable for the most part. You know what I mean? Um I'm just making sure everything's good to go. Sorry, I didn't mean to bump the microphone again. And then let's just go ahead and go like this. All right. I'm so excited to get into this. Again, I've said this a couple times because I've like brought up the idea of playing this a couple of times before. But I'm so excited to get into this because I've only heard nothing but like praise and compliments for this. Um, like I don't know. It seems to be like a lot of people's like favorite like visual novels or like really high up there. So I'm like, ooh, I'm excited to get into it. I'm also just excited. Like I love the idea of like starting just another big one, you know? Cause like there's like Please Be Happy that we've done. Oh, I did that on my YouTube channel. That one technically doesn't count. But then we've also done like stuff like the Headwell Loss. I'm like, ooh, I just love starting these big long journeys. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and get on into it. Ooh. Oh. Oh, let's go at 1.2. They're killing it right now. So, did we just like get kicked out of college at the very start of this? I assume that the whole story took place during college because again, the only thing I know about this is obviously it's a sequel to First Snow. It has two routes to it about like what club you want to be a part of essentially. So, I'm assuming something's going to happen to get us back into that, but walking by the bike propped up against a wall, I shiver from the chill of fall running through my apartment. The practically non existent insulation does little to keep the cold out, nor the noise. Without a roommate to share the space with, there's little to hear but the occasional passing traffic. I hardly mind, solitude is more comfortable anyway. Unfortunately for me, that same silence makes me focus all the more on my failure. Upon reaching the living room, I simply stop. It's not like this should be out of left field. I've stopped checking my grades on the school website, knowing full well that the hours eaten up by work would take their toll. Between working late and studying early, it's all I could do to not fall asleep during lectures. Oh, stop attacking my college life. This is, I mean, it was the opposite of like, wait, no, that is actually literally how it is. I would go to school all throughout the day, and then all of my nights would be is working my job. So this is, I'm sure that this is like just a common college experience. Denial. That's all it was. Now it's caught up to me, and I have no real way out. For what? For wait, what do I do now? For all I've tried to avoid burdening my mom, neither of us could possibly afford another semester or so of college if I failed out. I shuffle to the kitchen counter and grab a glass of water to calm my nerves. With little else available to distract myself from what I should be doing, I step over to the fern on the sill and slowly drizzle the pebbles around it with water. I'm surprised it's still alive after all this time, having bought it when I moved here, managed to take care of a plant. Managed to take care of a plant feels like a bad consolation prize given everything else I've messed up. All I can do is sigh and appreciate the chance to wind down a little by caring for the thing. With the soil darkened and leaves shining from the droplets of water, I put down the glass and fall back onto the couch. Might as well get this over with. I fish the phone from my pocket and navigate to my mom in the contact list. Then I press the call button. Anxious seconds go by as it rings before she finally picks up. Her cheery tone drops a little. She must have heard the defeat in my own voice. I feel like I'm deflating as I sink further into the couch. I thought I'd be scared or frustrated at how bad this is, but that's worn off and become a dull emptiness. The last tone of voice I wanted to hear was that sweet, concerned voice. It'd be so much easier if she just yelled at me, a sentiment I've thought more than once. Oh? Hope. I really wish I could believe her on that one. That is one hell of a long shot. I did fine in topics like science and math back in high school, but I never had an inkling of creativity. The art scene is also the last place I'd want to be anywhere near. Passing one of the two courses could give me barely enough credits to pass. Barely understates things. Then again, a pass is a pass, and skipping a semester isn't an option financially. Mom would doubtlessly do her best to help cover the cost, a fact that puts a knot in my stomach. All this is just trying to rationalize away one simple fact. She's right. Dang, aren't supportive parents like the best? I love them. It's a better solution than drowning my worries in some greasy fast food. As much as I'd love to take the easy way out of any additional responsibilities tonight. With that, the line goes dead. The big moment is over. I rest the phone on the coffee table before me. Starting tomorrow, I have all of 1 week to decide on one of the two classes. A class that'll decide whether I get a college education or stay stuck in this rut for probably the rest of my life. All I have to do is pass an art or English class to do it. As the silence of the apartment starts gnawing at the back of my mind, I decide to get up and start preparing that dinner to distract myself. Oh? It's so pretty. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's really cute. I was a huge fan of all the transitions and like how everything was handled like visually in First Snow, and I'm just so ready to see like all the ways that this does that. I'm so here for it. Today marks the beginning of the experiment. The drop period for classes ends next week. And so, at my advisor's suggestion, I signed up for both the art and English lessons. The plan is to sit in on both, decide which is best for me, and drop the other. I only need one to survive, and I'd rather not stuff my already full schedule any more than I have to. So here I am, sitting in art class. I've gone back and forth on this all day, oscillating between I don't have an ounce of creativity, there's no way I can do this, and it's just drawing, right? Could it be so hard? Yes, the answer is yes, but you still gotta try. I think I settled on there's no way for now. Try as I might to take proper notes, I have no idea what I'm writing down. Hello, Caprice. How's it going? A movement in the corner of my eye and a small, chirpy voice beside me aren't helping. The thing in my peripheral vision is shoved further into view. Glancing over shows it to be an open notebook, which I try to tune out. The notebook slides back and forth in response, tapping on my own book as I try to write. Grimacing only spurs them on. Grimacing only makes them annoy me more. Now, sure they have my attention. Now, sure that they have my attention. What do they want from me? I lightly slap my hand down on the paper, stopping their movements. Far from being discouraged, the culprit beams back at me as I glance over. Oh, she's so freaking cute. And I was thinking like that about like how she's pestering Olive before like it even showed the CG. Cast against the window beyond her, the girl smiles cheerfully. The two of us couldn't look more different as I stared warily at her, the sun behind her paling in comparison to her own bright nature. She gives me a thumbs up of encouragement, earning a bemused, furrowed brow. I might as well humor her at this point. I raise my tired eyes back to the author, only for her to resume her thumbs up pose. Is she genuinely interested in helping, or just making fun of me? Hey, you look pretty lost. Are you doing okay? Do you need some help? She's being so sweet too. Just trying to focus. Would it be too rude to add that she's only making it harder? I decide against it and slide it back. Oh, yeah, I know it's hard. This guy wait. I know it's hard. This guy teaches it so boring. But listen, I know all about this stuff. I can help you if you want. Ellipses. I look at my syllabus. I look at my syllabus on my desk in front of me, full of names and terms and concepts I know nothing about. This class isn't just drawing at all. It covers everything from art history to social movements. My heart sinks at the sheer breadth of knowledge that'll be needed. The professor's droning lecture is soon lost on me as my attention wanders to her notebook. Though she's dedicated the full page to this conversation, I can make out various notes about art bleeding through the back of the page, even if the handwriting is hard to decipher. My eye is drifting further. I notice another book sitting on her desk, an open sketchbook this time. Its pages covered with drawings of this and that. That's in addition to the doodles and the notes she's been passing me. I'll be fine. Okay, sure. This class must be perfect for someone like her. Oh. Upon reading my note, she suddenly shouts aloud in excitement. All I can do is freeze as the attention of the entire class, including the professor, is instantly drawn to her. His pronounced sigh makes it all too obvious that he knows this particular student altogether too well. So passive aggressive. I love this man. She gives an exaggerated salute, which seems to satisfy him. There are a few quiet giggles around the class, not that she seems to care. She turns and sees me watching, which prompts her to give yet another thumbs up. And after a moment's scribbling, to give yet another note in the corner of her page. Let's talk after class. I know just how to help you. I'm Caprice, by the way. Thanks. I'm Olive. I figure I might as well reply one last time. I have no idea the kind of person I've just agreed to talk to. Is she normally the type to pass notes and shout out during class? The last time I remember communicating like this is elementary school. The rest of the class goes by uneventfully, for better or worse. I try my best to take notes and follow along, but by the end, the professor's ramblings and tangents end up overwhelming me. Before I can even leave the classroom, I'm accosted by my new acquaintance. I had planned on waiting for her outside the door. She extends a hand, which I take. Her shake is surprisingly firm and fast, my arm being yanked around by the slight figure before me. Such a such a normal reaction. That's probably most people's reaction to Caprice. Oh? And she's so honest too. Oh no. Olive's face is so over this conversation. They're so done with Caprice already. I have to stop this. I'm not looking for a club or anything like this. She retreats a step back, hands clasped together. Honestly, this sounds like a great deal. You need help in an art class and an art club like president's offering to help you. That's an amazing deal. And for free, there's literally not a better deal. I can already tell she won't relent until I give in. I sigh. She's not going to let me go until I offer some kind of compromise. She pats me on the shoulder and runs out, leaving me in her dust. If I don't go, she'll definitely confront me about it in next class. I'm not looking for a club to join, though, and I'd rather not deal with someone so high energy. Maybe just sitting in won't hurt? I'll worry about this later. I've got places to go to as well. Oh, I don't know why, but for some reason when the scene was first fading in, I was like, "Wait, is this a train that we're on?" Until I realized, like, "Wait, no, these like don't look. It's definitely a diner. Yeah, it even says so down there." I don't know why my brain thought that it was a train. The afternoon shift at the diner has proven to be a slow one, much to my relief. With mom off for the day and the rest of the staff otherwise unavailable, I find myself idly flipping through my art textbook at an empty booth. The contents are overwhelming compared to what I'd expected from an art class, from a class like this, and I have to constantly remind myself that courses like this typically rely on participation and effort more than anything. Still, hard not to stress out about it as my eyes glaze over foreign terms and information, though. The small chime of the bells pulls me out of my trance as a customer sneaks through the door without me noticing. I Okay, yeah, no, that's why I thought that this was a train because of all the little handles up there. I was like, oh my gosh, we're just like on like a subway or something, like going to and from school or something else. I bounce to my feet to greet her, trying my best to hide how off guard I feel. Wait, no, that's so cute. They called this the Bell House. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. I go to retrieve a menu for the woman as she turns to meet me. Oh, oh my gosh. Did Caprice come with Millie to this place? That'd be so funny. All of us just like, oh, I can't deal with high energy people like this. You tracked me to where I work. Why? I take a few steps further into the diner, ready to lead her to a spot near the back. I only make it a couple feet before a voice interrupts my train of thought. She turns back around towards the entrance of the diner, handedly catching a small keyring sent flying towards her. It takes a moment to get it takes a moment to get my eyes on on the picture. Yada yada, I can read. A woman in orange and yellow seeming to be the culprit, and behind her, oh, oh no. There's no other way to rationalize this other than some sort of divine level prank, as the leader of the art club from yesterday is the last to enter the tiny space. Much to my despair, she seems to recognize me as quickly as I recognize her. God, I love everything about how this is presented. Just from like having like the little light bulb appear above Caprice to like having like the little lines indicate like talking, and the fact like every single time like a character on screen's talking, their outline like wiggles and shifts around. The presentation is so good here. Her smile looks sincere, which makes the short pause beforehand even more concerning. Yeah, that's Caprice for you. Wanting nothing more than to be done with this interaction. So fair. I spin myself around and start making my way to the back of the diner, beckoning them to follow. It's hard not to notice Millie glance at the textbook I had left out as the trio pass it by. The three shuffle in, Caprice and Millie on opposite sides, Haley opting to follow in after Millie. After I pass them their menus and pretend to look busy by wiping down a nearby table, the three make idle chatter as they talk about our offerings. I'd like to say I wasn't eavesdropping, but the truth is simply that they don't end up saying anything interesting. It's not long before they settle on their orders: loaded fries for Caprice, a chicken sandwich for Millie, and a breakfast platter for Haley. The latter is a bit annoying to prep at this hour, but it's nothing I'm not used to at this point. I carefully set each plate in front of its intended recipient. The fries give me a bit of a scare when a near spill, but Caprice helps save the dish in the nick of time. With a small wave, I leave them to their meals, taking my seat back at my textbook a couple booths over. My eyes continue to glaze over the writings and images. I wonder if they like made this through like taking pictures of like actual textbooks, or if they were just like, yeah, let's just like throw in some pictures here or there. L'art pour tous. Hang on. L'art pour tous. Hang on. R&D time. I want to know what that means. I want to know what that means. Hang on. El art pour. Well, I spelled pour wrong. Tous. I should probably actually tell Google to translate that to English really quick. Oh, art for all. Nice. My eyes continue to glaze over the writing and images. The entire book is nothing but a jumbled mess to me. It's more logical approach to the arts, contradicting the hands-on approach of the class. To relieve the strain from my eyes, I occasionally glance up at the diner's current guests. Millie's quick to steal a fry or two, with Caprice matching her roommate's thieving by taking a forkful of hash browns from Haley's plate. The laughter and the back and forth you'd expect from stuff like this is more subdued than you'd expect, but they seem to be enjoying themselves. And then Haley spots me. I try to avert my eyes back down to my book to feign ignorance, but it's a little too late. Sure, that's your name. With Millie glancing over Caprice's shoulder and Caprice's head spun around, it looks like I'm not getting out of this. With a resigned sigh, I stand up and approach their booth again. They sound so hopeful to avoid the social interaction. Haley seems to consider it for a moment, glancing down at her half-empty cup before deciding against it. uh, just the call out. I love it. Caprice and Millie share a glance. Internally, I cringe. Thanks for wording it precisely like that, Haley. I have known you for approximately 5 minutes, and I already feel like hiding away forever. That was so sudden. Capri slams both her hands on the table in shock, her head quickly turning between Millie and I. Her reaction, combined with a sudden grin from Millie, has me has me and has me at an indescribable level of terrified. I was wondering how long it was going to take before that came up. She retrieves her wallet, pulls out a small business card, and scribbles a room number and time on the back before passing it over to me. Not Caprice like, no, I need this. I need more club members. I want to try and talk him out of this as hard as possible. I had already been nervous about how tomorrow was going to go, and that definitely doesn't help matters. I do love that that Olive was like, yeah, no, I'm just taking these filler classes and they're just turning into the biggest headaches of all time for them. Caprice glares daggers into what I had assumed to be her friend, a far cry from her smile yesterday. Millie pretends not to notice, going back to her sandwich after I tuck the card away in my back pocket. I turned to Haley, looking for some kind of explanation. I met with a raised glass, the half melted ice clinking against as she shakes it around. I really like Haley. Is there a Haley route? I'm pretty sure the two routes are Millie and Caprice, but there should definitely be a Haley route. The writing class ran longer than I would have liked. The professor definitely belongs in that course, with a clear love of language and words. A lot of words. The syllabus didn't enter our hands until 10 minutes after the estimated end of class, and the rigorous requirements listed on it didn't make me feel any better. Given Millie's experience in the class, I want to go into the club today feeling optimistic, but in truth, neither leader has done a spectacular job of selling me so far. I mindlessly turn the card over in my hands a few times as I navigate the halls of the building. Judging by the advertisements for a car repair shop on the front, it's probably some trash she had yet to throw away before she handed it off to me. The information on the back is a lot more useful to me at the moment. I'm on the right floor at this point, at least. Now it's just a matter of finding the right door. The only thing unusual in this hall is a lanky guy fidgeting nervously outside of one of the rooms, the club room as it so happens. Given by the way he jumps back, it seems my presence had gone unnoticed. Getting a decent look at his face, something feels familiar, but I can't quite place it. His widened eyes seem to imply he's come to a similar sort of conclusion. It's not until he offers a feeble handshake that I realize who I'm talking to. We weren't super close or anything, but having a friend of any kind around after a little over a year of solitude is enough to get a smile out of me. Is this what was his name? The tree boy from Please Be Happy. Is that the same person who's playing Darren? Their voices sound so similar. I might be wrong on that, but they sound similar. I end my greeting with a small chuckle to play it off, which seems to satisfy him as he retains his smile. If only he knew the half of it. As much as I'd like to do a bit of catching up and continue avoiding the matter at hand, I'm becoming more and more aware of how late I'm running. I glance down at the card to triple check the details before returning my attention to him. He gives a dejected nod without so much as even glancing at it. It's good to hear that it's active, at least. I can definitely sympathize with Darren's situation, and it's a sentiment I'd echo in any other scenario, but sidestepping is out of the question. I'm already committed to checking out Caprice's club, so at this point it's better to get as many options as I can. I fully expect him to turn down the offer, not being shackled to the obligation like me, but instead his face lights up. As soon as the door opens, the noise Darren warned me about becomes obvious. The corners of the corners of my mouth already felt heavy, but that's only intensified as I discover the source of the squabbling. In the back of the room is a small group of people talking amongst themselves, scouring through the counter for supplies. The lone woman sitting at one of the desks is entirely silent, tapping away on her phone as the noise assaults her from both sides of the room. And in the front is Caprice, arguing with Millie. The two continue their back and forth a bit longer before suddenly stopping and swiveling their heads as the door fully opens to reveal myself and Darren. What a coincidence that you showed up at the time I told you to. Oh, sorry. When Millie told you to. That's the time you showed up at. Oh, I love the level of petty that she's being right now. Millie seems eager to respond, but instead just stands there, silently fuming. The threat of a retort almost scares me more than if she had actually chosen to speak up. Caprice seems unfazed by her friend's body language and instead turns her attention to the back of the room. Ah, I laid out Allison. It feels so good to see him. Also, like, I can't tell if that's like sort of the same like face for Eileen, but that's definitely like a. Oh wait, I was about to say that's a new one for Allison, but Allison didn't really have like a sprite in the last one because like we were from her POV. That's so weird. Like I don't know too much about like visual novel sequels because like I feel like that's a thing that doesn't really happen that often. What I feel like it's even less often that like there's a sequel to a visual novel where the characters like we're looking at it from a different character's POV, or if like even like the last character's like even in it at all, you know? So it feels weird to like actually be like, oh my gosh, there's Allison. She's like a person out there that I can see, and I'm not just looking through her eyes. The one glued to her phone doesn't react, but the four in the back turn around to face us. Having just a couple sets of eyes on me is enough to make me want to shrink away into my vest, let alone six. What? We've talked like twice for like 5 minutes. How much is there to tell them about us? A small pause seems to imply that's the end of that interaction, much to my relief. Allison bumps her elbow into the arm of the one beside her, which unfortunately seems to be enough to keep it going. I love Eileen. She's the best. And with that, she turns back around and continues piling miscellaneous colored papers and craft supplies under her arm. With a small sigh, Allison resumes her work as well. Oh, my boy. Oh, what was his name? I don't remember his name, but I loved him so much. Also, who is this person? I'm going to guess that this is just a new character for the art club to kind of like give like the cast, like fill out the cast a little bit more. because like I saw her, I'm guessing, when we like first walked in. I just assumed that she was like a part of like the other club. I love her design though. Confident she's not going to be getting any more out of the two, Caprice focuses her attention to another pair of students. A tall and intimidating man casually leaning on the countertop, and a stern-faced woman watching intently as Eileen and Allison pick away at the supplies. As Eileen and Allison pick away at the supplies. Ah, yes, Wallace, the guy with the deepest voice ever, if I remember correctly. Wait, is she actually a part of the writing club? I was right. A surprising amount of venom in that response, more than I think Caprice capable. Having had enough of this distraction, Millie makes her way back behind the desk at the front. She pulls out a pen and swiftly jots down her signature before beckoning Caprice over to retrieve the paper from her. Caprice opens her mouth, ready to protest, then decides better of it. She gives the contents of the paper a quick skim. It must satisfy her as she joins her clubmates in the back of the room. She extends her hands towards Darren, who reluctantly takes it. With a small shake and a smile, she ushers us to a pair of desks, then makes her way up to the front of the room. She shuffles around in her bag, looking for some sort of reference material. What? He definitely knows what he's here for, you know? He definitely knows what's going on. The sound of my forehead hitting the desk is louder. The sound of my forehead hitting the desk is louder than any kind of argument Caprice and Millie could have. A sharp clearing of the throat from the front of the room is enough to drag my gaze back up, albeit slowly. Gosh, I was just taking a moment to like just drink it all in. Of like, gosh, I think Theo is the one who did all the art for this, and obviously the art is incredible, incredible. It's so warm and cozy. I love the vibes. Front and center of the room, open book in hand, Millie definitely gives off a natural kind of teacher vibe. Giving up on her phone for the distractions, Heather finally sets it down and gives a disinterested wave in response to Millie's equally lukewarm introduction of her. Heather smirks, though it's hard for me to gauge why. That's probably like a huge relief for both Olive and Darren. That's just like a, oh, thank the Lord. We don't have to deal with this every time. I don't even need to turn my head to imagine the look on Caprice's face. I brace for a response, but oddly enough, it never comes. Well, I'm sure the news is a relief to Darren. I can't help but deflate a little. Oh, not the response I was expecting. Sort of. I got half the response I was expecting. It's my fault for getting my hopes up, but even I expected more than three people. Granted, Caprice's four isn't exactly a huge improvement. She approaches Darren, and I once again. I realized why I said that sentence wrong. She approaches Darren and I once again, passing him the book she was holding just moments prior. I lean in to catch a glimpse and am met with chicken scratch. A lot of it. There's more ink than paper, and that trend continues as Darren flips a few pages. The smirk from earlier has yet to fade, and as a matter of fact has only gotten even bigger with her new remark. A grumble from the back of the room from Wallace. From Wallace, if I had to guess based on the tone, follows shortly after. Even with the rest of her club, all two of them, not really winning me over, the work Millie has on display is impressive. At the very least, I feel like I could confidently rely on her, which is a plus. I jump a bit in my seat, throwing my head around to find Caprice standing over mine and Darren's shoulders, eyeing the contents of the notebook herself. Oh. Without averting her gaze from the cabinet's innards, Eileen manages to swiftly shut him down. Being an actual club is just a bonus. It's the cherry on top, you know what I mean? The side of the truth. Also, Eileen's outfits are always so great, and this one is another one like that. I love the scarf, I love the look of it, and her color palette's so nice. She gives off a very like fall kind of feel, if that makes sense. Caprice's explosion is met with a small smile from Allison and an even smaller smirk from Eileen. They don't seem to be taking this too seriously, which honestly may be a point in their favor. Millie has a genuine talent for mixing sincerity and an underlying smugness almost perfectly. Eileen continues her work, not bothering to turn around as she addresses me, likely for the best given the mutual surprise on Caprice and I's faces. I didn't expect Caprice to object before me. Eileen merely shrugs in response. he he's just like, listen, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. Caprice cranes her neck back and places a hand on her forehead in a display of theatrics, prompting a couple of smiles out of Allison and Wallace, far cries from the smirk that seems permanently glued to Heather's face. The thought of Heather is enough to remind me of my current situation, and I snap back to focus my attention on Millie and Darren. The latter seems content to keep paging through Millie's notebook as a means of staying out of the conversation, but Millie is obviously trying very hard to hide her transparent frustration with a smile. She couldn't sound more disappointed if she tried, and boy is she trying. I don't want to flake on Millie or Darren, given I willingly put myself in here with them, but at the same time, it'll only be a few minutes, and that'll tell me way more about the art club than a fully planned and rehearsed meeting would. It's non-committal for now either way, so I guess it isn't a big deal, but it's hard not to feel anxious about it. Oh, oh, hello, hello, Ari Song. How's everyone doing tonight? How is your raid? I guess I should introduce myself for anyone who doesn't know. Hello, I'm Darkbender. I'm the first gen member of one of the first gen members of the Bellflowers. And we're here just reading visual novels. That's what we do here. We're here reading and starting Twofold. But how's it going, Ari Song? How is your stream? How is your own two-folding session going? Mm. We're here. We're not too far in yet. Hello, happy Twofold. Yes, happy Twofold. It's so good so far. I'm really enjoying it. Twofold into a twofold. Call that a four. Call it a fourfold. Yes, let's call it that. That's a great way to put it. Listen. It's just twofold squared. You know what I mean? We just got two streams going on of it. That's what I realized. I saw like that you were streaming right before I hopped on. I was like, oh, you're also doing that because you're obviously you're still playing through it. We are so close to finishing Act One. How are you finding the prologue so far? I love it. Like I think one of the biggest appeals that I'm like seeing for this so far is that the characters are just so much fun. They're so much fun. It's like hard to not like just have a good time while reading it. Like I've just been sitting here with a huge smile on my face the entire time. Every single interaction, I'm like, oh, this is just gold. This is so good. Like I'm just sitting here like, oh, I'm sure we're gonna have to get to the choice soon of like what club I want to join. And I don't know. I don't know. I also love the little doodles on the choices like this. Like, oh my gosh, well, everything about like the visuals for Twofold and First Note are just so good. Like they add like so many cute little details to everything and like to like give it like a very sketchy but also very like put together feeling, if that makes sense. It's so good so far. May I respectfully suggest choosing the art club? I am definitely not biased. Yeah, you're not biased at all. Is that perhaps what you may be doing, or do you just have a preference for one character or another? Is that where the not bias at all comes from? Because like, listen, I'm not gonna lie. I have my own biases too. I was just sitting here like, well, I know I already really like Eileen, Allison, Wallace, and Caprice. Like Caprice is so fun. How could I say no to her, you know? Unbiased bias. Exactly. Like, listen, I'm gonna give you some unbiased bias right here. Just pick this one. I'm not gonna tell you why. Just trust me on it. But yeah, no. To be fully biased, again, I'm already so leaning towards Caprice. Like Millie has a long upwards battle to win me over because it's like we know her from the last from First No, but like even then we didn't get as much of her as we did with like all the other characters that I already know that I like. So it's like you're gonna have to work a lot for this, you know what I mean? So again, a huge uphill battle. Mm. But even then, like Millie is like super great. You have made the only objectively correct choice, Nodders. Listen, that's good to know. That's good to know. It's good to know that my biases are true and real and justified. I'm listen. Caprice is just like infectious. Like as soon as like we got like I wasn't expecting it to be like so early on that we'd like get introduced to like Caprice and Millie and everyone. But as soon as we got into like the art class where Millie just starts pestering Olive, I'm like, oh, I forgot how fun she was. I forgot how fun she was. Wide pep oh happy. I'm gonna nod my head and say yes. I know what that means. I understand. I understand fully. I'm definitely not confused by that in the slightest. uh, but yeah, no, I'm concerned because granted by the way that you're talking about it. By the way, also, are you all like on your first route, or have you played through one route and now you're on to the almost finishing the first act of another route? Their emote names. Oh, wait. Their emote names? Oh, that makes sense. um, I think either Bettery or some other app. Better TV. Oh, okay. I've never heard of that, but that would make sense. That's like one of like the confusing parts of like streaming is like even like sometimes like this happens on YouTube a lot. I don't know if it like happens a lot on Twitch, but on YouTube, a lot of people will put in emotes and then it'll just pop up explaining what the emote is instead of just showing the actual emote. Oh, first route, I yapped too much, so my full playthrough is going to take like a year. That's so fair. Like, we haven't yapped too much in this one. We haven't yapped too much in this one, but I totally understand that feeling. I talked about it like already on the stream, but on Sunday I was doing a stream for The Head Well Lost, another visual novel. And the Yap session before that was like an hour and a half long. It we would have gotten so much more done, but I enjoy just talking too much to like let it happen. The emote extensions help understand the emotes. Oh, see, I don't. You'll learn this pretty fast. I really enjoy streaming, but by golly, do I not understand a lot about streaming. Like I've looked into it, and it's one of those things like in one ear, out the other. I'll sit down and like watch tutorials on it and be like, wow, I just watched that tutorial for an hour. I sure don't know any more than I started off with though. So like it's one of those things like I'm slowly it's only been almost a year since I started. I'm slowly piecing these things together. But I'll definitely have to look into that because it'd be a lot more useful than having to be like, what are all these like words jumbled together mean? And then I have to like check the YouTube chat to be like, oh, it's just a smiley face emoji. Okay, thank you, thank you. So, but yeah, that would help a ton. I still want to get like more stuff for like bots set up just so we can like have like things ready to go. That's like more of like stream stuff that I need to get put together. I need to get on that. But back to Twofold. I have to make a decision. Bloop. Wait. Oh, I right clicked and nothing happened. Wait. Data. Oh, thank you. I want to save in the second slot. I like to have the first slot be like the main save for stuff like this. I just don't know how much like the choices matter yet in this. No, I don't want to click. I did not mean to click that. Hang on. Back. There we go. Bloop. Wait. Okay, right. Skip. There we go. There we go. Um. Oh my gosh, that's a door. Oh no, Millie looks so sad though. I'm so sorry. Wait. Hang on. Oh, my controller stopped working. Hang on. Oh, this is so cute. You know, Millie did say to also help them, so all she just looks so dejected. And Caprice looks so funny here, but we'll offer to help. We'll offer to help. I second guess myself for a moment, but eventually pull myself up out of my seat. Millie doesn't say anything, but but the frown on her face says more than you said I should. You said I should. You said it helped to get them out of here faster. How dare you frown at me? Don't make me feel bad. Oh, thank you, Olive. Thank you for being on my side. She responds with a faint nod and even fainter smile, pushing her disappointment as far to the back of her mind as possible as she turns her attention to Darren. I wish it helped make me feel less guilty about things. As I approach the back of the room, Tanya takes notice and starts making her way from the group. As we pass each other, she gives me a couple taps on the shoulder. Thanks. And with that, she takes her spot next to Darren and Millie as I shuffle to the back cabinets. Not awkward at all. Not awkward at all. Not relatable at all either. Totally not. Wait, what does that mean? Is there something wrong with glue sticks? How dare you? About as warm of a welcome as I can expect. I do as she says, pulling the doors open to reveal a handful of office supplies, in contrast to the various fabrics and colored papers they've amassed into a pile on the countertop. You're finally playing a game I can watch without getting spoiled. Tracy, that is so real. That's one of the biggest reasons I'm so excited to get into Twofold is because like it's something that everyone's either played or playing, and I'm like, I can't watch this without getting spoiled. Like I'll just use Ari as an example because you're here. I've clicked on like your notifications like so many times and be like, I can't watch this. I can't watch it because it's Twofold. Like I popped into it when you started earlier today. I was like, I'm starting this later today. I can't get spoiled. I can't let that happen. But that's so real. That's why I tend to not watch a lot of streams, is because I don't want to get spoiled on anything. Not to interrupt or derail anything, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm also not sure if the game audio is being played on stream. Oh no, you're right. Hang on. There we go. There we go. Did that fix it? Thank you so much. I had it muted earlier, And I forgot to unmute it. Thank you so much for that. That's just a common thing that I tend to do. Yippee, music and voice acting. Oh my gosh, yay! Lamau deja vu. Yet it's just something that I tend to do a lot. Is like if I ever mute something, Lord only knows that there's a 50-50 chance I don't unmute it. The amount of times I've muted myself, and then I'll sit down and stream for like 45 minutes before someone's like, "Hey, I didn't realize you were back yet. Are you talking?" Or like, what's going on? Oh, Lamal, I feel it's whenever I raid and someone playing in a lawn or yet, and it's something I haven't played yet. Usually, okay, yeah. Like it's something that everyone can relate to because no one likes getting spoiled on things. So it's like, yeah, I'll get back to watching this when I can. Wait, the game has audio. I know, no way. That's crazy. I can't believe they like put audio in this game. It's like revolutionary. No, I get you. I sometimes forget to unmute game audio for stream. Yeah, that's the most common one. People usually notice immediately if like I'm not talking, only on rare times where it's like, hey, I walked away for a few minutes and I realize you're still not talking, that I like, oh no, I've been muted for that long. But like with game audio, it's just like, again, sometimes there'll just be a full stream without game audio, and it's like, you know what, you win some, you lose some kind of thing. I don't mind getting spoiled, but if I can avoid, yeah, if I can avoid spoilers, that's for the best. Like, I don't mind demos because that's sort of like you're just like playing like the beginning of the game, you know. So, but I understand if you do. But for me, it's like if you intentionally tell me spoilers that you know that I like haven't done yet, then I'm like, oh, you're about to catch these hands. I'm not ready for that. But if someone accidentally spoils me on something, it's not like the biggest deal. Like I was talking about like how I want to play like Undertale sometime soon because I never have, and I've never ever been spoiled on anything other than haha funny sans Undertale Skeleton Man. And people found that to be the most impressive thing. I'm like, yeah, no, I can just bob and weave around spoils so easily. The thing is, if I play the demo, I'll want to play the full thing and don't want that excitement to die out over time. That's so fair. I got to the end of the Sama Uni demo and the Tith and Blood demo and had that same thing of being like, oh, I just want to keep playing this. I don't want this to be over. Like, I just had a pit in my stomach when I finished like the summer demo. I was like, I just have to wait however long for this to come out. That's not fair. But it's also such a good way to like get you excited for it. Like, I feel so much more hyped for summer now that I've like had a taste of it, and now that I like love the characters already, now that I'm really into the story, I'm like, no, I like this so much more than I did before, so I'm even more excited for it, even if the wait's more painful. You'll show up for Undertale? Yes, let's go. I'm really excited to play it because it's like, people constantly say it's like the best game ever, so just to hear you be like, yeah, you'll show up for that, I'm like, oh, Undertale's gonna be so good. I'm so excited for it. It's gonna be a little while, like maybe like a month or two, but I'm really excited to get into it. And like, yeah, mood for real. It's just, again, demos are like a double-edged sword of like, it kills you inside, but you like get so much more excited for it. I do as she says, pulling the doors open to reveal a handful of office supplies, in contrast to the various fabrics and colored paper they've amassed into a pile on the countertop.
Thank you for the help, Olive. Even if they're small, setting up 2 tables for the club fair is a lot of work.
It's fine. 2 tables, though?
Millie's sharing her space with us, so we're helping with the writing club setup too. Fair's fair.
I just realized, like, even more so of like the fact that there wasn't any of like the game audio coming through is like, oh my gosh, the amount of just long pauses as I'm listening to the characters talk. Oh lord. Hi Caprice. Caprice is too special. You have to say hi to her. I understand. Caprice is quick to jump in, eager to not give Allison time to form a more generous response, surely. The relationship between Caprice and Millie is so strange. It's like they're fluctuating on how friendly they are with each other, on a sentence-by-sentence basis. Even their actions are inconsistent. Dog, that's just having friends. You're each other's biggest ops and biggest supporters.
So, don't take this the wrong way, but why help us out here anyway? You came here for the writing club, right?
She tries to make it sound like a casual conversation, continuing to dig supplies out and adding them to the already rather large pile as she asks, but the tone of her voice betrays that pretty handedly.
Well, Caprice mentioned getting your club together when we met in class the other day. I figured this might be better than forcing all of you to go out of your way for me.
Aw, see? They'd be a perfect fit.
Allison's smile reinforces Caprice's statements and forces me further into the cabinet to hide my blush. Aww.
Well, I'm glad you accepted my invitation because we've got things to discuss.
Uh-huh.
That's definitely up there on the list of most intimidating ways to open a conversation. What do you mean? Eileen's not intimidating in the slightest. They're so easy and, like, approachable. Just the easiest person to talk to ever.
Allison was right. Caprice has told us a bunch about you already. Standard stuff. Flunking out, hoping to use the club as a lifeline.
Oh. I emerge from the cabinet, tossing a couple stacks of unopened printer paper onto their stockpile. Eileen's face remains unchanged as she continues sorting through her own mess.
I hope she said more than that.
She has. She talked about you being nice and hardworking, and being a good cook. Though I'm still not entirely sure where that last part came from yet.
I shoot Caprice a glance, whose only response is a sheepish smile.
Yeah, sure, great, but none of that is relevant to the point I'm trying to get to. You're only going to get out of us as much as you're willing to put in. Don't expect any handouts, at least not from me.
Right to the point, huh? I guess that's fair, as much as I doubt my ability to live up to the standards she seems to be expecting.
When did you get so soft, Eileen?
What? That's soft?
Don't know what you're talking about.
Allison pauses her rummaging for a moment to pat Eileen's back a couple times. Hang on. I had a sneeze coming, so I needed to mute for a second, but then it just didn't come out. Classic Eileen. Classic Eileen, being as blunt as intimidating as possible. That's why I love her. Eileen freezes upon the physical contact, but both resume their scavenging soon after.
Eileen may be scary, but she's right. As long as you put in the effort, everyone here will be more than happy to help. Right, guys?
Sure.
Well, if I can, I suppose. I'm not really great at drawing and stuff myself.
So I don't know why, but I'm getting the slight impression that this is a chat that really likes Caprice, and I understand. Just from the little I've seen of her, I understand the love. You have to say hi every time she's on screen. It's the rule. Okay. As long as I now know the rule, I understand. I'll make sure to keep that in mind for the future. Every single time she pops up.
Better than where I'm at, I'm sure. I'd appreciate it.
Caprice shifts her eyes to Eileen to get her final confirmation. The silence hangs awkwardly for a few moments before Eileen pulls herself out of the cabinet and returns Caprice's glance.
Like I said, if they can prove they actually want to put in the effort, I'll help. But I'm not a charity case. If you're dragging them in, they're going to be your responsibility.
Oh, come on. It'll be a team effort.
Uh-huh.
It's a relief to hear that everyone would be willing to help at least a little, but I wish these two weren't so willing to try pawning me off to each other when I'm standing right there, when I'm standing right here. She's not my favorite character, probably top 3, but I love her, Lamau. I'm Haley Strong. Listen, we've had one conversation with Haley, and I was already like, listen, does Haley have a route? Is she one of the options? Please and thank you. Wait. So Haley's obviously up there, but here, who's your other favorite characters? Who's your other, like, in there? Because it sounds like Haley might be your number 1. Oh my god, let's go. Stan Haley, yes. Haley, our beloved. She's so good so far. Just based on the one interaction we've had, it's like, please. If she doesn't have a route, can we get an update to put a route in for her? I need that. It's a relief to hear that everyone... Oh, read that part already.
I'm capable of doing the work. I'm just trying to make sure the work I'm doing is good enough.
That sounds more than fair.
Here's hoping.
You really are playing softball today.
Eileen's grumbling from the cabinet signals the end of the conversation as the other club members resume their stockpiling efforts. Caprice opting to squeeze in next to me to double check my work. Haley, Olive, Caprice, Wallace, Millie, in that order. But I love the entire... Yeah, no, that's for sure. That's for, like, whenever I talk about, like, any, like, Studio Lawn project, it's always like, okay, here are my favorites. But just because they're not in, like, my top 3 or top 5 doesn't mean I don't adore them, you know? They're all still so great. And I love seeing Wallace up there. For some reason, I was like, maybe I love Wallace more than other people do. But just from first snow, I'm like, dog, you need to be in the story more. You need to be in the story more. I need more of ya. I'm thankful to work in relative quiet after being grilled from the get-go, but at least I left that conversation roughly knowing where I stand with all of them, I think. With everyone focused on the task at hand, the pile of those supplies starts looking hefty enough for the club to consider their job done, closing up the various cabinets and drawers as they organize the hall.
Sorry for dragging you along, Olive. Thanks for the help. See you at the fair, I hope?
One way or another, I guess. I haven't settled on anything yet.
Yeah, I know. I'm positive you'll come around in the end, though.
We'll see.
No pressure, no pressure. Wallace was my favorite first snow, so I'm happy he gets screen time. Oh, I forgot to say hi, Caprice. I'm so sorry. But Wallace is the chillest dude ever, and I'm so happy again, like that he's getting more screen time here. That's like when First Snow got to like its second half, where it became like almost entirely Allison and Eileen. I was like, I'm very fine with this, but I do love Caprice and Wallace, and I need more of them because like Wallace being the chillest dude ever, I feel like it's such a good like contrast to everyone else's like more outgoing energy, you know? And he's not like awkward, he's just relaxed. He's just a vibe. After forcibly dragging Wallace back to help with the heavy lifting, the art club files out, Tanya eager to close the door behind them. Their absence is immediately noticeable, the air feeling just a bit less chaotic. That'd typically come as a relief, but the energy they carry as a group almost feels contagious, a thought that keeps coming to mind as I resume my conversation with Millie until the end of the meeting. What can I get a little bit more of the meeting? I wanna meet these new characters a little bit more. Friday, every student's favorite day of the week. Outside of those few people who took classes on Saturday. Perhaps it's my imagination, but even as I head into the cafeteria, the chattering of the people around me takes on a slightly happier tone than the days before. Gotta leave for a bit, have fun. Have fun too with whatever you're doing. Thanks for coming by. As for me, my mind is still occupied with thoughts of clubs, classes, and my last-ditch gamble to survive the semester. My stomach grumbles, the smell of food from the tables only reminding me of my hunger. After skipping breakfast in my rush to get to school, I need something more than a cookie from a nearby cafe to get me through the day. The food here is nothing amazing, but I'm hardly picky. At least lunch will be a brief break from my worries where I can forget.
Olive!
No, Caprice is gonna hunt you down. You can never escape her. You go to work, she'll follow you there. You go to the cafeteria, she'll follow you there. You can't escape.
Olive, hey!
Oh, also, hi, Caprice. So much for that. Caprice waves at me from one of the tables. She has an uncanny knack for detecting my presence in a room, however crowded and busy it may be. I resign myself to my fate and take a seat as the woman next to her gives a small, polite wave.
Hi, Olive.
It's still so weird seeing Allison as like a character sprite instead of like looking from her eyes. The two make an odd contrast. Allison's shy, almost nervous greeting in stark contrast to Caprice's overabundant energy.
So, managed to survive Millie's lecturing after we left yesterday?
It was pretty quiet and low-key. Nothing that extreme.
By quiet, you mean boring, right?
Hey now.
Yep, it was boring and terrible. The typical writing club MO.
Ah, you sound like you love it there. Now Heather has appeared, which can only make things better. Even though she's decided to walk up and invite herself into our conversation, she doesn't seem all that interested in giving us her full attention. Engrossed in her phone as usual, she barely looks up to address us.
What?
Caprice is visibly annoyed with Heather's only reaction being the corner of her mouth tugging upward. Heather's passion for pressing people's buttons doesn't stop with Millie, it seems.
Well, Olive, don't feel obligated to give them the time of day. We'll get you through the semester easy peasy. Right, Allie?
Yeah, of course.
Right again. The club is nothing more than a waste of space.
It sounds like you really love being there.
Hey! Nobody asked you!
What? We're agreeing, aren't we?
Heather's managed to frustrate Caprice into silence, as impressive a feat as any. She seems to notice my bemused reaction, face suddenly rebounding into a grin.
I still owe you a proper meeting. You'll come, right?
How do I keep getting caught in these conversations?
We'll see.
And all the ones after that?
I do love just how relentless Caprice is. Like, once she sets her mind to something, she does not let it go, and she has the best energy about it too.
Well,
Great! I'll see you then. I gotta take care of some stuff for the fair. Bye, Ellie!
She shoots Heather one last venomous look before hopping out of her chair, beginning to head out of the cafeteria. Gotta respect the hustle. Exactly. She has her needs. She's like, I need to get more members for this club, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get everyone I can, whether they want to be here or not.
what about food?
Already ate! Bye!
How odd. Must have just been keeping Allison company. Wait, what was she mentioned? What was that she mentioned about a fair? Before I can call out to clarify, Heather once again speaks up.
Why did you even come to our club when you were already playing house over with Mommy Caprice?
You can never say no to Caprice. I'm sure that doesn't hurt either. You really can't. I mean, that is literally how First Snow went, was a bunch of people who said no, and then a bunch of people who ended up in a club with her. So I'm just kind of seeing those same gears turning here. We're gonna, even if we say no 1,000 times, we'll end up there eventually. Even if we do Millie routes first, we'll still end up in Caprice's club the second time we play. Allison takes to her feet and grimaces at the comment. I can't help but match her expression.
Please don't call her that.
Just keeping my options open.
This might be a good opportunity to help with that. I've got a member of each club in front of me, though not for long, as Allison picks up her tray of food and slips it onto the nearby corner. Heather looks unmoved by Allison and Caprice's abrupt departure. She takes a seat at the table next to me, barely looking up from her phone. Occasionally, she'll sip from the can of soda she brought with her. She doesn't seem particularly enthused by the writing club, so I figured she wouldn't spare the unpleasant details. That said, Allison does seem like the honest type. Even if she is more loyal, if I hurry, I can still catch her. Oh, this is so easy. We're picking Allison 1,000, like 100%. Like, I'll pick Heather next time, like we go through this stuff. No, Heather kind of sucks so far. Allison's great though. Heather's only paying half attention to me to begin with, so I quickly get up and skip over to Allison as she strides off. I have no intention of playing peacemaker, but it's striking how strong her feelings are on the matter.
Hey, Allison.
Allison turns to me, her frustration with Heather still simmering. She soon turns embarrassed at being caught fuming.
Hi. Sorry about Caprice running off.
That's just her. She's just energy.
No worries. She seemed busy anyway. Fair prep?
Wait, hang on. If we're not like an official club yet, how do we have like a thing at the fair? Isn't that a thing for like only like official clubs to do anyways?
Yeah, we're all a bit behind schedule, so we've been kind of scrambling.
I was gonna say, and then Heather still forces her way into our conversation. Allison would never. Heather gives a dry ha as she overhears the last of her conversation before wandering off towards the food counter.
She's always so rude.
Allison pouts at her back as she walks away.
Do you interact with the writing club much? Outside of yesterday, I mean.
Every now and then. More lately with this fair stuff. Not like Heather's much of a club member, though.
What exactly is the club fair about? I saw it advertised earlier last year, too.
There's not much to it. A bunch of the school clubs set up in the gymnasium and try to recruit people. Mostly freshmen who haven't been poached yet. Millie offered to share her space, so we're sneaking in this year.
When it's Caprice trying to get people into the club, Calling it poached is the best way to put it.
If you have a way to get new people like that, why is Caprice so dead set on recruiting me?
Caprice is really serious about the club. But you've probably noticed that already. Honestly, she's serious about everything she does. She wants to get every person possible. A dream of hers is to grow and expand the club beyond even the huge existing one.
Oh, I did beat it. Hang on. Womp. Wait. Even beyond the... And... Oh, okay. So she was kind of trailing off anyways. I didn't want to accidentally cut her off there. There we go. She trails off, suddenly going quiet as she thinks better of continuing.
And what?
To be honest with you, I prefer smaller groups. I'm fine with how things are. Nothing against you, though. You're free to join if you want. You'd love it, I'm sure. Everyone really is nice, and we have a lot of fun. Caprice is wonderful, too. I know she can be a little overbearing at times, but she always brings so much energy.
A little too much, maybe.
No, I love Caprice's passion for just life in general. It's so infectious.
Sometimes, sure. I get it. When I first met her, I thought she was pretty overbearing. I wouldn't really fault you for thinking that.
She's good at what she does, though, right?
Oh, absolutely. Everyone there is. I'm still learning, but they're always teaching me new things. But I guess what's happening is...
She taps her finger to her chin, pausing to give her next word some thought.
Caprice wants us to be a legitimate club. A club that's official, real, whichever word you want to use. We aren't much of one right now. We barely nudged our way into the fair. Even then, we kind of cheated to get there.
How do you cheat to get into a club? I gotta head out for the night. Have a go on. Twofold is great fun. Realize after typing this that everything. I love it. I love the rhymes. But yeah, you have a great night too, and thank you so much for the raid. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Bye. Bye.
If I join, will that even change anything?
Of course, good night, good night. Good night!
I don't know. It'd take more than one person, probably.
Of course it would. More members would be helpful, but I wonder how many. How many they'd even gain from an event like this. Then there's the fact that Allison here clearly doesn't want it. I wonder if I'd just be butting into some group of close friends more than joining a club.
Still, we're going to do our best. You should do what's best for you, too.
Thanks. Sorry for keeping you. I'll see you around.
Allison gives a quick goodbye before skipping out to try and catch up with Caprice. What I found might not have been what I wanted to hear, but at least she was honest. Now, time to actually get some food. I quietly mull things over as I head to the food counter. The art club is close and friendly. They're small because it's like they're a group of friends trying to be a club. The writing club isn't much, but at least Millie seems capable and eager to help. It's probably better to not even consider Tanya and Heather as factors. I'm not sure if either is a good option. Hopefully this club fair will help me find better answers. With class still some time ahead of me, I find myself wandering the halls, going over my choices in my head.
Hey.
Hey, Haley, what's up? I just about bump into Haley, who is carrying some poster board and other materials.
Whoa. Hey, you need some help?
Without answering, she shoves some of her supplies in my direction, which I take. I already have a general idea of where she was heading.
The gymnasium, right?
Smart. Come on, you've been drafted.
She goes, and I follow.
So, how'd the meeting go yesterday?
You didn't hear about it?
Oh, I heard tons of things. But I'm interested in your perspective.
I would love nothing more than a 5-minute mental break from the Caprice and Millie war. Unfortunately, it looks like something I won't be able to avoid anytime soon.
Well, I'm not even entirely sure what happened. It felt like a sudden whirlwind.
Yeah, sounds like them.
As we enter the large building, I see that the area has been filled with tables arranged in rows. There are students running about, readying their booths.
Hey, where are we taking all this?
Over here.
They're set up right next to each other? Of course they are. Of course they are. The people at each other's necks need to sit right next to each other for this. I follow her to a table, or what's supposed to be a table anyway. Instead, I find two smaller booths cramped inside the same small space, covered in red and blue cloth. One has a very formal-looking sign which reads Creative Writing. The other one has a very slapdash sign simply reading Art, clearly written by the same hand. Okay, but the join poster is so good. So good. That would get me right there. That's so creative.
You get the rundown on how they're sharing a spot already?
More or less. I remember them packing up a lot more than just a couple tablecloths and posters, though.
The art club is off turning all of that into brochures and other promo material for the two right now. This is all just bare bones stuff.
I'm surprised Millie trusts them enough to handle that.
Haley tucks her armful of supplies safely under the writing club's desk. I follow suit, emptying my hands as she lifts the cloth up for me.
Millie gets along well enough with all of them. It won't be an issue.
Could have fooled me.
Listen, dog. That's just how friends are. You trust me on this one. Either that or me and my friends are just really toxic. Either way.
Things are just complicated right now is all. You saw how they were at the diner.
Are you talking about their friendly small talk or them trying to poach me from each other?
That's why I called it complicated.
She brings a hand to her headphones, debating pulling them over her ears. After a moment, she thinks better of it, deciding to instead lean lazily against the writing table.
You're committed at this point, right? You're gonna be picking one or the other?
Yeah, that's about as far as I've gotten in my thinking, though.
No particular feelings so far?
Oh no, I have particular feelings. Definitely joining the art club. Sorry, Millie.
Oh, tons of feelings. Most of them dread. It all sort of cancels each other out.
I feel like these two have just like such similar demeanors. I feel like, I don't know how the story goes obviously, but I feel like these two, if they wanted to be, could be like great friends.
Well, good luck.
Like they'd just be like a chilled, laid back time together.
Wait, what's up?
That was just Millie stuff. Gotta head over to the art room now.
Want me to come with you?
Yes, please?
I've got it covered, thanks.
Once again, the headphones coming up signify the end of the conversation. She pulls herself up from the table and starts making her way past me without any further elaboration. It may be impossible to decipher Millie and Caprice's going-ons, but trying to get a read on their roommate is an entirely different experience. I debate sticking around to catch her again, but decide against it and make my way out of the auditorium, going out of my way to leave through the opposite doors. Today marks a day so rare that I can't remember the last like it. Something so monumental, the full implications haven't yet settled in. A day without school, study, or work. Hey, that's a lie. Those don't exist when you're going to college and working. That's not a thing that happens. The sizzling of bacon rings in my ears, its smell playing on my nose. With time on my hands for once, I've decided to start the day with a simple pleasure, the taste of eggs and bacon for a late breakfast. As I nudge the bacon with a spatula, I take a sip of the steaming coffee beside me. I'm just waiting for Caprice to somehow interject herself into this day. Unfortunately, my skills in cooking haven't translated to my skills as a barista, and the concoction proving foul. If it weren't badly needed caffeine, I'd have tipped it out already. The little cactus sitting on my window still catches my eye. My pride and joy, as embarrassing as that may be to admit. Easy to take care of, too.
Looks like you're doing better than me these days.
My words to the plant go unheard. Living alone isn't the easiest thing. Every chore, mill, and errand needs doing myself, after all. The sneeze finally came. And it almost caught me off guard. I'm so glad I can mute in time, because sneezes and coughs sound terrible on the mic. But it is comfortable. I can do things on my own schedule, and I eat at my own pace. Solitude might not be easy, nor cheap, but it is simple. Pleased with the plant's quiet and unassuming company, I take another sip of my foul coffee. Isn't that just coffee? A distant ping from the couch announces a received text. Considering how few people I know, it's either mom or work calling in to ask me to help cover a shift. Knowing which I prefer, I turn down the heat on the stove and walk over to pick up my phone. Oh, wait, what? Oh, wait. Hover at the top to go through text? Wait, hang on. How does that? I mean, I probably need to click it to actually, like, go through. Wait. Hang on. Okay, wait. I think... Okay. Ollie, are you home right now? Unlike me, she had work today. I look at the time. Not even noon yet. If she's texting me now, she's probably just getting off her opening shift. Oh, that's so cute. I love this little icon. I love the little icon. Yeah, what's up? Mind if I drop by for a bit? Maybe over lunch? Sure. Oh, okay. I fully understand it now. Great. See you then. See you. She's fussing over me again, as she so often does in quiet moments. It's hard not to notice this happening more often now that I'm living alone, though she's never outright admitted that. Mom sits at the small table, its shabby, scuffed wood adorned with a small pastry box she's brought with her from the diner. It's a bit of a comfort to know that even living apart, she still brings extra treats for me. I'm thankful I had a light breakfast.
Honey, you really didn't need to cook for me. At least let me help.
I was going to cook lunch for myself anyway. Whether it's for 1 or 2 people, doesn't make that much difference.
I carefully bring 2 plates over from the kitchen counter, even loaded with chicken, vegetables, and rice. Despite her protest, Mom's eyes widen at the meal as it's placed before her, still steaming away.
This is better than having to cook for yourself. You deserve better than work food every other day anyway.
She smiles excitedly at the plates, shifting the box to the side.
It looks as good as it smells.
Also, I just love the name August. I've never heard anyone like name that, like, you know, like April, May, like those are like normal things that like I hear a lot. I've never heard anyone be named August, but it's a great name.
Thanks. So, how's work?
I take my seat next to her upon placing down my own plate of food. Mom talks about her day as I sit and take a knife and fork in hand.
And she's yelling at me. Her baby is crying, and her other kid, oh, I'm telling you, they had the most embarrassed look. But what can I do? Except apologize. And of course, she didn't even tip.
Sorry I wasn't there to help you deal with that.
I'm glad you weren't there. Speaking of which, how's your day off been so far?
Oh, boring. Stressful.
Stressful? Nothing stressful's happened yet.
What did you do?
Yet.
I sat around here, mostly just a lot of thinking.
Ollie, it's your day off. At least take some time for yourself.
With what's been going on...
Still turn up about your classes, huh?
Yeah, guess so. And things just keep getting more complicated.
What do you mean?
This is going to make me sound really, really unobservant. I never noticed that, like, depending on which character is talking, the text box changes. That is such a cool detail. I explained to her about the clubs, between the meeting from a couple days ago, the upcoming fair, and the feud between the 2 leaders. She listens attentively, her expression varying between interest and concern. I feel myself deflate further and further as I talk, the hopelessness of the situation becoming all the clearer as I put it into words. It never quite sunk in until now, just how bad my options
I
are.
really don't know what to do, Mom.
She has that soft, caring smile I've seen so many times in my life.
I know it's tough, but look at it this way. Even if they're fighting, the club leaders have been nothing but nice to you, right?
Sure. Maybe a bit too nice. I just don't know how things will go. My whole college career hinges on this.
You're more resilient than you give yourself credit for. I'm sure you'll pull through. Everyone wants you to do well. I know you won't regret your choice, whatever it is.
That's easy to say.
It's true, though. You're wasting your day off stressing over it. Take the rest of the day for yourself. Relax, do something you enjoy. Don't make it another day of stress. That way you'll be going to this fair with a clearer head.
That's easier said than done. She does have a point, though. I can't do anything more than I've already done at this point. It may not sit right with me that my future depends on people I barely know, but those two are who I'm stuck with. I have no choice but to gamble on this.
I'll try.
That's my Ollie.
She gives me a hug and a kiss on the forehead.
Now,
She pulls out the pastry box from earlier and places it on the
I brought a
table.
slice for each of us. Which one do you want? I'll let you pick first.
Oh, she's so cute. I love her so much already. Listen. I just love, maybe it's because every other story, like 99% of them have like just, oh, the main character's parents are terrible, awful, evil people. So it's just so nice having stories where like the character's parents are just good, supportive, nice parents, you know? I just love seeing that because it's like so rare. It's so rare. Inside lies 2 slices of pie, signatures from the diner we work at. 1 slice of blueberry and 1 slice of cherry. If I didn't know any better, I think she had done this on purpose. It took my brain a second to register, like, wait, what are they talking about? What do they mean by that? Mondays come around again. I took Mom's advice and tried to relax after she left yesterday. I don't know if I succeeded. I feel like I've come back from an exhausting weekend. Today is the day of the fair. I'm not sure if I'm sold on either choice yet, but I don't really have time to mull it over anymore. I went over it again and again. I'm hoping seeing them at the fair today will finalize that. With the morning study over, the cafe beckons for a quick pick-me-up before going to war in the club fair's gymnasium venue. Never having been to this kind of event before, I expect chaos, especially so given the circumstance. Oh, it's called the Oak Tree with August and all. I love the names. The names in this are so good. They're all so put together. Heading in, the place is thankfully quiet, with a scant few students quietly sipping lattes while tapping on laptops or hunched over books. It wouldn't feel unusual any other day, but right now, it feels like the calm before the storm. Hey Haley, what's up? A particular lanky girl catches my eye, as much for her bright getup and headphones as anything else. Haley sits quietly as she listens to her music, head and chin with a small coffee beside her. For someone so mild-mannered, she sure stands out. She picks her head up and waves me over. Pulling up a seat, she rights herself a bit and takes a sip. Her grimace shows that it's either cold or bad. Probably only brought it to avoid being kicked out for hanging around without ordering.
Hey.
Hi. Done with fair prep?
Yep. I helped them finish setting their tables up this morning, so I've got the rest of the day off till the car ride home.
It's bound to be an awkward time after the fair today.
Haley can only give a weak shrug in response.
Caprice doesn't ride with us much nowadays. Dinner the other day was just an exception to the rule.
Huh? I wonder how I should read that. The meeting was definitely a bit tense, but I didn't think it'd be to the point where they'd be avoiding each other to that degree.
Are things okay? Like, between them, I mean.
Her face remains as deadpan as ever, but I can faintly make out a raise in her eyebrows. I guess a question like that out of nowhere probably deserves a reaction like that.
They've just been having some personal stuff going on for a while, and things are volatile. Nothing you need to worry about.
Probably.
Would it make you feel any better if I said, definitely?
A little bit, yeah.
Fair enough.
I pinch the bridge of my nose in frustration, an act that apparently does not go unnoticed by her.
Is stressing you out that much?
You don't know the half of it. The situation on my end is pretty dire.
You'll be fine. Promise. I mean it this time.
How do you figure?
If you're just worried about your grades or whatever, they'll both make sure you get to where you need to be. They've never let me down anyway.
Another sip of her coffee, supposedly forgetting about the reaction she just had to it. As expected, her face contorts immediately in response.
Even if that's true, being stuck in the middle of those two like this just makes the entire thing feel more overwhelming than it probably needs to be, you know?
Yeah, well, join the club.
Yeah, that's the issue. That I don't know which one to join. I've been stressing about just dealing with them this morning. I can't imagine actively sharing a living space with those two. I want to feel pity for Haley, but the small smile on her face makes me second guess that decision.
Get it?
Yeah, I got it.
I wasn't sure if that joke was on purpose. I'm so glad it was. Content that her joke landed, she pulls her headphones back over her ears, our conversation at its end.
Get your drink and get out there. Don't let me keep you. Good luck.
Thanks, Haley. You're so supportive. I appreciate it.
Alright. Nice talking to you.
Yep.
By the time... Ooh, I want to join the clubbing club. That sounds great. By the time I arrive, the club fair is in full swing. What must be hundreds of freshmen with a scattering of second years here and there fill the hall and mill about. Hey, no wait, come back. So true. Every single scene with Haley is like, please just stay. Please don't go. Don't go. I just need that Haley route so bad. It's interesting to see which ones look like they're on a mission as they head directly for a particular club, compared to others who peruse the tables as if browsing at a farmer's market. I'm honestly glad that we're like, even if there isn't like much more to like her, like I know she doesn't have a route, but I am glad that we get like so many interactions with Haley. Like I thought she was gonna be like the background to Caprice and like Millie, but I'm glad that she's like very much so her own character and has like a very like not a defined relationship with Olive, but like their own separate relationship with Olive instead of just being like, oh yeah, that's their roommate essentially, you know. Dozens of small stalls are lined up with varying amounts of work put into them. Piles of flyers sit on each, the odd standee or prop set up to try and catch the gaze of passing students. Most of those behind club tables look more bored than anything, some having checked out completely as they lean back and browse on their phones. The occasional happy shout rings out as old friends recognize each other, but for the most part, it's a surprisingly subdued affair, a nice surprise that calms the nerves a little, but not quite enough to feel really comfortable. Strolling along the aisles, I casually note the more niche club entries, such as robotics, fighting games, and fencings. I could probably be persuaded to join a couple of them under different circumstances. Nearing the end of one particular aisle, it isn't hard to spot, or should I say here, oh my god, I didn't read your name. Welcome back, Tracy. How's it going? It's been a while. I just kind of saw the name out of my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, you're back. Hey, how's it going? Oh, Lamau. Yeah, listen, that's me. I get so absorbed into reading that it's like I look over, read the chat, I'm like, yeah, I agree, based, and without even reading the name sometimes. Nearing the end of one particular aisle, it isn't hard to spot, or should I say here, the art club's table.
Looking for fun?
Oh, hi, Caprice.
Club. We're accepting anybody, no artsy experience required.
Sounds about right. Oh, hi, Caprice. Millie sits beside her, hands together on the table as she patiently tries to catch the eyes of those passing by. The formal act strikes me as a little put on, not helped by her occasional slips when Caprice gets louder than usual. How these two could live together has me beat. Yet here they are, with their two small tables stuffed into one assigned space together. I feel like I'll never fully understand the relationship between these two have. I know you told me to have fun too, but showering with a bucket of cold water that sounds genuinely awful. Like with like all the body pains and everything I've been dealing with, a lot of people have been like, you gotta like take cold showers. Like it's not gonna help like you physically. I mean, it could, but it's more to help you like mentally. It feels so nice. And I'm like, dog, I've taken cold showers. Like that sounds awful, but with a bucket of cold water, that sounds dreadful. I'm so sorry. Why did you do that, if you don't mind me asking? And if you don't want to answer that, then absolutely don't. I'm just curious. We've had a 2-week-long water outage, and supposedly we'll get water back on Sunday? That sucks. I am so sorry. I'm not gonna lie, like that's happened to me before, and I listen. There are very few things that I'm as picky about as like bathing or showering and stuff like that. I just went and took showers at other people's houses. I was like, hey dog, listen, I don't have hot water. Can I please just use yours? And I've only been told yes. It's only work, so I'll take it. You get used to it when it happens almost more. That sounds awful. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. No, I would say like, man, it's happened to me like twice total in my life, but that sounds terrible. Granted, it's happened to me at like hotels and stuff, but only twice at like where I live though. So that doesn't sound fun. Is it like because like you just have like water issues, like something wrong with the plumbing or something? Because that does not sound like fun to have to deal with. Oh, hang on, I need a drink. Oh. Thank you, my tall glass of agua. Okay, you know, we've definitely already read this part. Okay. Then it happens. Caprice and Millie both set eyes on their prey at the same time. Yeah, they refuse to just change the pipes and instead keep fixing. What? Are you kidding me? I barely know anything about plumbing, but even I'm like, even I know that that's a bad idea. They refuse to just change the pipe and instead just keep fixing the same. That's so obnoxious. I'm so sorry. That's great. That's great. They definitely know what they're doing. I have full confidence that, you know, you keep doing the same thing over and over and it keeps not working. One of the times, it'll just work. It'll just work. Trust me. I promise. I promise. Mexico's such a nice place, isn't it, Lamau? Listen, I'm sure that happens in other places, because I heard horror stories of just like apartments in general, because I don't know if like it is an apartment that you're talking about. Like the amount of horror stories I've heard of like of people who live in apartments and the stuff that they have to deal with, I think it just might be like landlords. Like actually a good example is a friend of mine just had some like issues with their own plumbing, but they don't own the house, they rent it, so they had to call out like a whole team of like plumbers to fix it, and they just destroyed the house. Like he had to spend like a few hours cleaning up after they were done. I'm like, I just don't think landlords are just those kinds of people, as far as I can tell. They just don't care that much. You know, not to generalize, I don't like to generalize, but Far from a fight breaking out, an intensely awkward silence reigns between the three of us as they carefully maintain their smiling facades, the occasional student passing by only exacerbating the standoff. Oh, this feels so awkward. Sighing at the cruel fate assigned to me, I realize I'll have to take the initiative.
Alright, so we all know what's happening here. Let me hear it.
You know, I love the direct approach, Olive. That's good on ya.
If I may, the writing club's a great working environment, and you could get a lot more done in a peaceful workplace than a party. And being a real club, we have actual resources and didn't have to rely on sneaking into the club fair to even be here.
The emphasis on real club there really hits. Not it's a proper house, but the outage is to the oh, so it's like a citywide thing. Oh. or not a citywide thing, but like kind of like around the neighborhood probably. That makes sense. That makes sense. Dang, that sucks. Yeah, I haven't heard of that happening. The worst I've heard of is like power being out in some areas for like a few days, from where I'm around. But that does suck a bit. I don't know why they won't just replace the pipes then. That's really weird. That's really weird. Even if she's too eager to bite, Millie isn't really wrong if she sneaks a smug look right at her.
Shows how much you know. I actually did the paperwork.
Oh, good job, Caprice. Good job.
And yet here you are, sharing my allocated space.
I don't need to explain anything. Olive's seen how great we are already.
Caprice on her own definitely has an overwhelming personality, but her club seems mellow enough. Yeah, that's the thing though, is like, Caprice is the extrovert who goes around and adopts introverts. She adopted Wallace, she adopted Eileen very forcefully, and she adopted Allison, you know? She's like, everyone else in the club is super chill. She's the only one who's like just a bundle of energy and passion. That combined with the fact that the art class is likely to be easier overall is tempting. The writing club, on the other hand, well, Millie herself seems really into the subject matter, at least. Even if the rest of the club isn't much of a factor, it'd be hard to find a better tutor.
So, have you made your decision?
Yes, I have. Yes, it was definitely a long and tough decision to come to, but I have. I personally did the writing club's route first because I had nothing, absolutely zero things about Millie, so I wanted to get to know her since I had already heard things about Caprice in the server. Who are you going with? Listen. Here's the thing. I already love Caprice. I already love Allison and Eileen, obviously, and Wallace is too chill of a dude to not want to hang with. On the other hand, while I do like Millie, I do know so much less about her, which I'm kind of having like almost like the opposite thing of you do, of like, I'm just really in the mood to hang out with like people that I know and people that I like, which is how I tend to be. I'm like the type of person who's like, I want to hang out with my friends. I don't need other people in my life, essentially. Do you want the route with the most Haley content? Okay, now you're speaking more of my language. Is that Millie's route that has more Haley in it? Because you are tempting me. That is a tempting offer. Writing club. You are making this rather hard on me. See, my other counterpoints were, well, I do like Millie, and I don't know too much about her, so I want to go hang out with my old friends, basically. I also don't know Tanya at all, and Heather kind of sucks. She's kind of a jerk. She rubs me all the wrong ways. But you do make it very tempting to pick her. I maybe was persuaded. Besides, I'm sure I'll come to love Tanya and Heather with time anyways, so whichever club I pick, I'll have to drop both the other club and the other class. There's not much chance I could do both and pull out a pass. Wait. I want to see their little symbols. Look how cute that is. Oh my gosh. I love Wallace in the back. He's so cute back there. And look how happy, and look at the writing club. I might be a little tempted, except Heather is still there and she's kind of a huge butt. Also, Haley's the only other one. I mean, Heather's the only one with like color on her. That's weird. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. You know what? You swayed me. I might have to go there.
Please, but
listen.
I think the best shot I've got is with Millie.
I think that the Capri stands might hang me out to dry for that one, but I feel confident in that answer. You know, I gotta reach out there. I gotta make new friends and be with Haley. So sorry, Caprice, but I'll have read that part. I don't need to. The collapse of Caprice's face stings a little. Oh, I feel bad, but I also would have felt really bad. Based pick. I agree. You know, you're a good influence. You know, because I hadn't really thought too much about which route Haley would be, and I'd like, she's probably going to be in about the same. But you also do bring up good points of like, you know, I don't know too much about Millie as well, so I want to get to know her more. And especially the other two, because with how, like, I was expecting, not to go on too long with this before we get back into the game, I was expecting the game to try harder to get it to be like a split decision. Like, it's going to be like, okay, you already know these characters, you already love, like, the art club, so we're going to have to introduce the writing club and get you to really like these guys. So when you come to that decision, you have to really, like, think about the decision. But for, like, most people, I'm sure it's like, well, I like the art club, so I want to go with the art club. And that's totally fair. That's totally fair. Again, the game didn't, like, do too much to make the writing club to be too much, like, to be too appealing, you know? So, but I am interested to see where that goes, because it is all new characters. The collapse of Caprice's face stings a little, though at least Millie has the grace to give her a moment to deal with it. She bounces back in true Caprice fashion, settling for pouting as she sits back down in her chair. Millie takes the response as her cue.
Thank you, Olive. Pleased to have you aboard.
Oh, and we got an achievement. Let's go. Oh, I'm such an achievement hunter. I'm so good at getting them. She catches herself and reels her excitement back in, though not quite quick enough for it to go unnoticed. Even if she was successful in writing her tone, the large smile on her face is still as obvious as tell as any.
Your first club meeting will be on Thursday evening, then. I'm sure you know the place.
Have fun being bored with boring people. If you want to switch, the door is always open.
You take defeat with grace, Caprice. I appreciate it. Oh, also another perk to picking the writing clubs is that it sounds like a lot of people either picked the art club first. I'd never be able to catch up to them to watch them play through when they go live for Caprice's route. But if I start the writing club first, I could get ahead of everyone else. So then when, say, like, Ari starts the writing club, I can then watch those streams. My brain's huge. My brain is huge. I can understand that, but I decided to play first no. But I decided to play first no until after I did Twofold, as per. I forgot it was Caps or Theo's suggestion, but it was one of them. Wait, that one of them suggested to play Twofold first? I didn't know that was what they, like, were, at least one of them was suggesting to people. That's interesting. That probably, honestly, that makes a lot more sense. That would make a lot more sense if you did go into it that way, because it does make the clubs feel very even, you know? Like, you don't have, like, all of, like, the built-up relationship with all of, like, the art club, so you can look at both of them and be like, well, I like this character, and I like this character, I'm interested in this character, to actually, like, make, like, a more, like unbiased decision, you know? When most of us came into this very biased. Because when I heard that this was a sequel to First Snow, I obviously just went, well, I gotta play First Snow first. That's just how sequels work, you know?
I'll keep that in mind.
That's the nicest no I can muster. I have to make sure I can pass, and the writing club is the best chance of that. Saying my goodbyes, we agree to meet later before I take my leave and head out from the gym. The writing club, if nothing else, at least there's some comfort in knowing what I'm in for. The next few months are going to be a trial, but Millie definitely seems the better tutor for dragging me past the exams. Only one way forward now, I guess. I'm still struggling with the idea of putting all of my trust into a single person, but it's the best option I have. Even if her smile was just a result of her winning her little war with Caprice, something about it manages to reassure me, at least a little. First Note came out first, in all fairness, but it added to the not knowing anyone experience and helped me catch up on the Twofold foreshadowing. Yeah, that's like, I think, like, based on, like, what you're saying. Oh, wait. Oh, no, I was expecting Olive to read that part. Like, it seems like this is very much so a sequel that you can play without having first played First No. So, like, yeah, for most people when that came out, like, does make sense, like, read First No first, because, like you said, it came out first. It is the first one in the series. But, like, Caps or Theo's suggestion to play this one first does make sense. Again, especially since, like, if you do the writing club, a lot of the stuff from First No probably won't factor in as much anyway, so you won't need any of that knowledge as much. And even then, like, based on, like, the interactions we've had so far, it doesn't really seem like playing First No is like oh yeah, you need to know all the deep, intricate lore of the characters to really get into it. It's just more of like oh, I'm catching up with old friends, this is nice. It takes a moment for my eyes to adjust as I step out into the dazzling sun. It's a Thursday evening, and that means everyone with a life is leaving the grounds as fast as their legs can take them. Everyone else, myself included, is walking right back into the campus. I pick up my pace as I walk. It'd look bad if I was late to the club I just joined. Reaching the arts building, I wait for the flow of students escaping the day's classes to taper off, before squeezing inside and leaving the beauty of fall behind. It looks like a full house today, as sad as the idea is. The only sound to be heard is the squeak of a marker on the whiteboard. Millie shoots me a polite smile as she notices me enter, before busying herself further with her very important work. Tanya rocks her chair while looking out the windows. Heather apathetically plays with her phone, and Darren dutifully writes in his notebook. Taking off my backpack and swinging it beside me, I take a seat in the front row with the others, the only open seat being next to Heather. Can't imagine why. I couldn't tell you why no one would want to sit next to Heather. Couldn't tell you. No, but you need to play first no. But you need to play first no with the 18+ patch first to get the secret Mr. Mo lore. Listen, I'm not even gonna lie. I don't think I realized that there was an 18+ patch until I looked at the achievements and I was like, you know what? I gotta 100% this game. So I did. And I think that the achievement was even just to just install the patch and you didn't have to do anything more. So that's as far as I got into all that stuff. So is there an 18+ patch for this game? Do I need to download that so I can also 100% this one? I don't know. I'm not sure of that fact. But if there is, then I know what I must do. As the seconds roll by, and at a loss for what exactly I'm supposed to do, I busy myself with looking around the mostly empty room. The really almost totally empty room. The desks are organized into a perfect grid. Spare pencils fill the pen holders on the benches around the room. The teacher's desk, commandeered by Millie, is neatly organized with notebooks and folders. Everything is perfectly set up for the class ahead. Standing alone at the front of the room, Millie looks more like an actor playing a part in an empty theater than a club leader. She's taking her time comparing the notes in her well-worn journal to what she's writing on the board, but she's coming across as more nervous than diligent. No, Twofold is safe for all audiences. Okay, listen. You never know. You know, when I when I put in the patch, I did see some of the images and was like, oh, I did not expect this from this, you know, but it's there. So I was like, you know what? It would make sense if that was here too, you know? In my wandering thoughts, I lock eyes with Heather for a moment. Oh, and I should mention, I don't have anything against 18+ scenes. Like, they're totally fine. Like, when I first played through Fate, granted, I was going to say when I'm playing through Fate, I left them on, but that was mostly as a joke and an easy, not my proudest moment, an easy way to clickbait people. I'm not gonna lie. It was very easy. All of the other parts of that series had like 16, 17 views on them, 30 at most. All of the episodes that implied 18+ scenes conveniently had 10,000+ views. I couldn't tell you why. I don't know. In my wondering thoughts, I lock eyes with Heather for a moment. I offer a polite smile. Being that we're in the same club, for better or worse, probably for worse, it's worth at least trying to get along with her. Rather than return the awkward greeting, she simply rolls her eyes and goes back to her phone.
Wow, the art club was that bad, huh? Caprice must have left a pretty horrible impression for you to end up here.
Say that again or you're going to be catching these hands, Heather. I'm not afraid to throw down right here. She doesn't look up from her cell as she talks, scrolling through her social feed way too fast to actually be reading anything on it. You get to experience Tosaka's Yes, you get to experience all of the great moments that happen. It's all very well written too. You know, it's just Nasu was definitely a person who has definitely done the do's before writing any of those scenes. For sure. He's talked to real women. I'm confident in that. It was such a culture shock to go from like reading like a really, really well written scene into those, and like I tried to read it as like a joke at first, but I was like, oh, this is just the worst thing I've ever read. And then back into really good scenes again. I never got around to playing the remake. Did you read it? I have the Sadly, it's not really much of like a remake. It's more of just like it's kind of like a remaster. Because I was expecting it to be like the Tsukihime remake, where they like went back and actually like redid like all the CGs and sprites and everything with like current like Takeuchi art. But I do have the remaster on my Switch, just because I'm like, you know what, it's the first time Fate's ever been put out in English officially. I gotta support the cause. So that's what I did, even though I'm just playing through it on my computer. Because listen, I started it like 2 years before the remaster was announced or anything, so I'm like, it's not like a full remake, so I'm just gonna finish it on my computer. Well, I might get around to it eventually, just to see like if there are actually like any actual differences. Actually, FGO has been available in English since forever. Well, actually, it's only been available in English since 2 years after it was released in Japan, so... But I should clarify, I mean the Fate of the Stay Night variety. That is the first time that that visual novel has been released in English languages. That is what I should specify. Also, one of my favorite things about reading visual novels in stream is just being like, yes, all of the Fate fans come to these. I love it. She doesn't... Oh, what? I read that part.
No, it's not that. This just seemed like a more legitimate club. At the time.
Heather scoffs at that, half smiling in a way that mocks more than words possibly could.
What is it we're actually meant to do? Beyond writing, that is.
Show up every Tuesday and Thursday. So long as we have an extra warm body in the room, the club doesn't get killed off.
The snap of Millie's notebook closing takes my attention, our teacher turning back to the classroom. Heather pointedly turns slightly away from me, ending the conversation.
Welcome to another meeting, members new and old. I'll get right into it, since I know everyone's busy. Everyone will do some writing today on a topic they'll choose. You can finish your stories off after the meeting if you don't find the time today. At the next meeting, we'll share our work with each other. That'll help us all gauge where we're at in our writing skills and what we'd like to focus on going forward.
I met you during the Bellflower relay, and even though I didn't stay too long because of Tith and Blood spoilers, yeah, that's totally fair. We yapped about Fate Zero for a bit, Lamau. Now that you're saying that, I do remember your usernames. Ever since you popped in, because you mentioned like how you can finally like watch one of my streams, I was like, I remember you from somewhere. But it's sort of like when you like run into like an old acquaintance and you're like, I don't want to be the first one to admit that I don't remember you fully. So that's just what's been my attitude this whole time. But dude, yapping about Fate or Fate Zero, I can do that all day. One of these days I'm gonna play the Tsukihime remake on here, and I'm really excited for that. But yeah, no, just Fate always has a special place in my heart. It's one of those things that I'm like, it's not for everyone, but I love it. It's especially Fate Zero. Fate Zero is probably my favorite. But the visual novel is also really high up there. Once you get past like the 3-hour really boring introduction, it gets really good, unsurprisingly, you know? I love it. Unlike the dead silence from earlier, Millie is trying to project her voice in a loud and clear way, even if it's only to the 4 of us. Whatever issues the club may be having, I'm reminded of why I thought it was the better choice. She's earnest, and at the very least gives off an air of a good teacher.
Question, Miss Clark. How long does the story have to be?
Only as long as you want. This isn't classwork.
Lucky us.
Unlike Tanya's somewhat rehearsed-sounding participation, Heather isn't even hiding that she intends to do nothing. Darren looks like he's copying down the notes on the whiteboard, so that leaves only me left as Millie turns towards my direction.
If you need any help, don't hesitate to ask.
I don't know where to even start, to be honest. I haven't read a book on my own time since 5th grade.
That's terrible.
I'm better at more logical subjects. The arts aren't really my thing.
I've taught that pains my heart because I've mentioned this a few times, but I've read nearly 35 books since I think it was May. May is when I started really reading again this year, and just I love reading. Also, I gotta admit, all my Tsukihime knowledge comes from Carnival Phantasm. You're so real for that. Like, listen, Tsukihime is another one of those things that I would like dodge and weave around spoilers with. just because I've always planned on reading it, and then they announced the remake, and then they announced it was getting like translated. I was like, you know what? I'll just wait for that. I'll just wait for that. I'm not gonna read the old one because I love current Takeuchi art too much for that. But I have watched Carnival Phantasm, and even then, I'm not gonna lie. If it was like a Tsukihime related bit, like solely focused on them with very little Fate stuff in it, I may have skipped it. So, you know, I know that there are maybe vampires. I know that the church is involved. Yeah, that's where it ends. I know. The only time I've seen Ark say anything is because I pulled her in FGO. That's about it. I read the entire Alon catalog in March. Like, are you serious? That's insane. That's so much visual noveling. I was gonna say, like, I don't even know how you could like get through that much, but granted, it is like slightly different when you're like reading it for like recordings or streams, because like in January, when I was like going through like Please Be Happy, I ran my throat completely dry. It'd be like 4 or 5 hours of just recording Please Be Happy, and I'd get to the end of it and I'd be like, all right guys, I'm gonna sign off for today. I want to read more, but I think I'll die if I do. But that's awesome. That's awesome. Wait. Top three. I'm not too well versed in all of them yet, but my plan is to get through all of them within the next few months. That's my plan. But what are your top 3 of the Studio Lawn stuff? Please Be Happy took me the longest because I got sick while reading. That's so sad. See, that's actually kind of the reason like why I got into it, because I loved Please Be Happy so much that it was sort of like a game that I'd almost like only use as like a comfort game. Like if it was a genuinely terrible day, I'm like, time to break out the Please Be Happy again, time to make me feel better. But then like I got everything with my hands and legs happened, and I was like, sounds like the perfect time. I'm so sad and depressed. I need some of that Please Be Happy in my life. And you know what? It definitely worked for that month, so.
The world isn't so neat that everything can be divided up into logical or creative sorts. A blank page is always a writer's worst enemy. But this is a writing club, not a workshop. We can work through it together.
She closes her eyes, giving serious thought as how to best make do with my less than useful outlook. To my surprise, it doesn't take long before her eyes reopen, a newfound sparkle in them.
Tell me, where do you think a story should start?
The beginning?
Oh, they're real for that one. They know the secret. They know the sauce. You just start with the beginning. You don't need to do anything beforehand. It took my brain a second to be like, NPG, which one's that? National Park Girls, Twofold without. I love a fellow without a voice enjoyer. I loved Without a Voice so freaking much. I up on my desk, I supported the Kickstarter for the I think what was it? Oh, my brain's blanking on what it was. The anniversary thing, like the sort of like updated version. It had a specific name that I'm blanking on, but the specific version, one of my favorite acrylics. It's that one, and then I have the spinning one with like everyone from Please Be Happy on it. They're so good. But Without a Voice is great. Hang on, have you read A Head Well Lost? Because if you enjoyed Without a Voice, you'll enjoy The Head Well Lost, because they're written by the same person, and it's so good. It's incredible. I just finished like all the routes. Well, got all the endings on Sunday, and it was a ride. It was so good from beginning to end. I don't want to say too much to spoil it if you haven't read it, but so I'll just say it was incredible.
Wrong. A story starts with a plan. A story without a plan is just a meandering series of sentences.
I wasn't prepared for this passion. Glancing sideways to see if this is considered normal, my neighbor sits there unfazed, unapathetically scrolling her phone. That answers that then.
So, let's start at the real beginning. The highest layer of writing a story. An idea. Someone give me a 1-sentence idea for a story. No details at all, just the elevator pitch.
A knight saves a princess from a castle.
Tanya jumps up, suddenly looking way more excited. She smiles as Millie claps her hands together and writes it on the board. I appreciate her input. The atmosphere of the room changes ever so slightly in the spirit of collaboration.
Excellent. That's a high-level story concept. Ideas are quick and easy to come up with, but finding one you're excited about is the most important part. Now, down to the next layer. What 3 things should any story have?
She pauses and looks back at all of us. Tanya sits back down and looks around to the rest of us for help. I haven't, but I've been meaning to. I trust anything that Audie's been involved with. That's actually what got me interested in it at first too. Cause like that was like, I was following Audie on Twitter at the time, and that's like right when I started. I think that's when they were like finishing up work on Without a Voice. I mean, not Without a Voice, the Headwell Law. So I like played the demo, loved it. Shortly after the full game came out, and I'm like, and then shortly after that, the Without a Voice thing happened. I'm like, oh, Audie and Lore are such a great team, because I believe Audie did like all of the art for, or nearly all of the art at least, for Without a Voice. So anything that they work on together is just, it's just incredible. Basically a masterpiece. So highly recommend. I hope you really enjoy it. Seeing me look entirely lost and Darren avoiding her eye contact, Tanya gives Heather's desk a small kick. Well, a regular kick. Heather responds with an annoyed "Tch," and glares at the ceiling as she responds. Consider everything about Heather. That was a pretty tame response. I wonder how often something like this happens.
Introduction, conflict, resolution.
Thank you, Heather. Now, Tanya's story about the knight and the princess needs an introduction, a conflict, and a resolution. Darren, could you fill that out for us?
I guess it'd be... The knight and the princess's situation is set up for the introduction. The conflict is the idea itself. The knight has to save the princess. Then, I guess the resolution is for the princess and knight to get married and live happily ever after?
Almost there, but the conflict needs to be an obstacle to reaching the conclusion. Why does the princess need saving? What's in the way of the two being together?
Usually, it'd be something like a dragon has her locked up.
These little doodles are so cute.
Good, but now this story feels a little too formulaic. How about for the assignment this week, you all write the story of the princess and the knight with your very own twist. Something to make the story uniquely yours.
I know we just started this, but this is making me really wish that the college I went to had a writing club, because it super didn't. It was such a boring college.
There's one last layer before we start writing in earnest. We have our outline, but now we need to attack the structure. How do you approach a big project? We need to take our story outline and break it up further into chapters. If you like TV shows, think of them as episodes, or maybe as different scenes from a play. How about 3 chapters, or just paragraphs for a short story, between each of the introduction, conflict, and resolution. You can change that as you go if things don't feel right, but that gives us a framework to hang our story on. There, does that look like something you can write?
I can kind of see it in my head now. Yeah. This whole process doesn't feel very creative, though. I mean, carefully dissecting a story into layers and components feels a bit clinical.
I don't know. I really like that they're taking the approach that they're taking to explain like the creative process, that it's more than just sitting down and be like, I'm going to story today, or I'm going to draw. And it's like kind of like describing like the process and breaking it down like to be clinical, like Olive is saying. I really like that, because like that's the part of, like that people don't really think about before they start this kind of stuff. I'm sad I never got to 100% wave, but the special edition broke my completion percentage. Wait. Did you mean that you like had it 100%ed before the special edition came out, or did you just never get to do it at all? Because like I don't think like maybe if you have all the achievements, but I've heard through the grapevine from Addie and Lore that they don't think anyone's seen 100% of Without a Voice. Apparently, it's like nearly impossible to do, which is so cool to me. I wish my college had clubs to begin with. Your college didn't have any clubs. Mine had like a filmmakers club, which was basically just a bunch of kids got together and vaguely talked about movies, which I actually really enjoyed that club. We even had like some special guests, like some like writers who would like what was it called, like kind of Skype call us, and that was really cool. And outside of that, I think we had dance club and like that was kind of it. We had like a couple other like sportsy clubs, and that was kind of it. So we didn't have too much. A sparkle shines in her eyes. I stumbled into something she wanted me to work out for myself.
So clinical that you might say it's almost logical.
Tanya gives an amused snort from the other side of the class, and even Darren smiles a little bit at that. She got me. She was leading me to that this entire time. Millie leans back on the desk behind her and lets me stew for a moment.
There's no clear line between creativity and logic. You need both to write, or make any sort of art. To paint a person, I imagine you need to understand anatomy. To write a story, you need to understand structure and how readers will think. Don't get hooked up on being as imaginative and original as you can. Just practice. Write badly.
So true, Millie. So many people need to be okay being bad at stuff until they get good at it. So true. So
For a
true.
while, you'll come to intuitively understand why some things work and others don't. Like a driver slowly learns to work a car without thinking about how they're doing it. And when you're stuck, you can always talk it out. Giving each other feedback is the most important and fun part of writing. So take some time to plan it out, think of your knight and princess, and ask around if you're stuck. We can all share our stories next Tuesday.
No. Before the special edition, I got to 98.32%, but the special edition lowered it to 88.59, even though I read all the new content, so it should have been higher than before. Apparently, apparently I'm the closest to 100% anyone has been. You wrote... This is getting... Hang on. I wrote notes to help me 100% it, and if all the routes were equally as long, there would be 65,536 permutations. Are you kidding? Lore goes crazy. They're crazy. They go so hard. They're visual novels. Because, like, I was trying to get all the endings for The Headwell Lost, and the amount of times I would click, like, one different decision in a route, and there would be like 5 new lines of dialogue that were just so seamlessly slipped in there. It's like, oh, she goes so hard at making like every run unique. That's crazy. But I can't believe you even got like to 98.3. Granted, if you wrote it all down to help, that's makes sense, but it's like impressive that you even got there. Like, what was it that like could you like not like just like figure out like how to get to the final route, or was it just more of like or like all the rest of the percents that you need, or was it just more of like a time thing of like it's taking a while to go through each and every time? Because like I don't know, that sounds like a lot of work. That sounds like so much work. Granted, that must have been like a really cool like thing to do though, just because like especially because like all the little lines add like just that bit more context or like bit more to the characters. It's really cool to see. The room's already awash in the orange of sunset by the time I sit up to take a break. With the meeting winding down, the rest of the members have largely stopped paying attention to their notebooks. I look down at my own. A truly awful mess of words look back up at me. Stuff like this makes me question the entire premise of writing. How can I mess up so badly at doing the very thing I did back in high school English? With that said, I can't deny that breaking down the story, as Millie said, has already helped a lot with the entire process. I think back to the literature textbook sitting somewhere in my apartment. That was hard for me to say for some reason. The language was more difficult, but the whole point of the class has been about finding author intent and how it's successful. I'm still not confident in being able to identify what makes a good story, but having the vocabulary to start thinking about its components is a relief. As much as this seems like basic stuff, I can't help but be a bit annoyed at myself again for checking out all during my high school English classes. I got every route without a guide, and then I brute forced as many permutations as I could. Looked into the game. You looked into the game's code to see the point and flat. That's incredible. Oh my gosh, no. So I think I also got all of the endings without the guide, I want to say. I think I might have needed it for 1 or 2. I definitely needed the guide for the Headwell Lost. Yeah. I definitely needed it for that. But like actually like breaking it down into the code and seeing everything, that's awesome. That's one of the things of like I don't know why other people who know coding don't do that, because that just seems like such a helpful way to get like all the good juicy secrets out of something. So that's really cool. My saving grace right now is Millie, who seems more than happy to use club time as a teacher rather than a fellow club member. The ruffling of papers as people pack up makes it clear everyone else is either done for the day or giving up. Following their lead, I slip the pens and paper into my bag. With Darren still fussing about, Heather preoccupied with her phone, and Tanya chatting with Millie while sitting on the teacher's desk, it looks like I'm the first one out as I give our leader a quick wave while passing.
Oh, before you go.
I stop in my tracks, having so nearly escaped. The sight of Millie's hand happily outstretched, palm up, confuses me.
Yes?
Phone.
Do you mean you want our number? Is that what you're asking for? Because you don't just say phone to that. I don't know coding. I learned a bit for this. You did take a computer programming class in high school, but comparing PHP to Python is like, oh yeah, no, completely different things. Because I also took a coding class in school, and I learned about the what if statements and stuff like that. But like anything other than that, it's like, I don't know what we're doing here. But that's really cool to be like, you learned coding just to get all the endings to your visual, like not to get all the endings to the visual novels, but just like look at like all of like the different ways that the visual novel can play out. That's really cool. See, that's the kind of passion I can respect. I love it when people are passionate about something. Oh, did you guys know that water is really, really good?
I just wanted to take down your number and put in contacts for the others.
Even though she doesn't seem the type to text nonstop or call at random hours of the day, a part of me is dreading giving someone I've only just met my number. It might be helpful to have on hand in case I have an actual writing class question, though. Reluctantly, I pull the phone out of my pocket and hand it to her.
Why do you have everyone's numbers anyway? Don't you meet twice a week?
As she finishes up, Millie gives an alarmingly large grin as she places my phone back into my palm.
Ah, but that's not all we do.
I don't know if the music meant to cut out there, or if that was just a coincidence, but the fact that it is making me feel like, oh no, Olive's going to have the worst reaction. They did not sign up for this. They don't want friends. They just want a way to pass this class. Water sodas, any other drink? Thank you. In my mind, the only other drink that comes above water is Dr. Pepper. But even then, I don't drink that very often just because, like, I've turned into a little bit, not a full health freak, just a little bit of a health freak, and I just know how bad soda is for you. But outside of that, water is top tier. It was during the Bellflower collab when everyone was talking about, like, their drink of choice that we all had, and I was just sitting there like, dog, I'm not cool or special. I just got my water bottle with me, and that's all I want. So the hydration checks for me were really hydration checks, and it was great because water's based. Millie turns back to the club members, all stopping what they're doing as she proudly puffs her chest out.
To welcome in our new members, I'm announcing the first group outing for the reorganized writing club.
Oh no. Oh no, this might actually be Olive's nightmare. Act 1, pen to... This is so freaking cute. Oh my gosh. I love... The chapter titles are so cute. Like, they were great in Please Be Happy. They were so good in First Snow. And I love to see that hasn't changed here. I think that these might be my favorite of any of the chapter, like, cards that we've seen. I went to a job party last year and everyone's ordered different kinds of alcohol. And I just went like, can I please have water? No ice, no added flavor, just water. That's the stuff. See. For me, if I can take water, I prefer a nice ice water. But if there isn't if there isn't like ice available, or for whatever reason, water, it's like comparing like a 10 out of 10 to like a 9.9 essentially in my brain, because I've done that same thing, like especially when I first started like really getting into like health and stuff, and I saw how bad Dr. Pepper and soda was for you, because like it's one of those things I've always known, but I was like, I really want to take care of myself, so I want to learn more about this stuff. The first time I went to a restaurant with my friends and went, yeah, can I just get a water, please? After everyone else like ordered like all of their sodas or like their smoothies or like their giant milkshakes, I got It was the most judged I've ever felt by my friends before, and even to this day. But you know, I'm like, I just love a nice water. I don't know what else to tell you guys. It is 99% of what I consume on a day-to-day basis. The trees are a nice color this time of year. Fall's always been. I'm playing this at the perfect time because not only is it fall, which is beautiful and the best time of year, but it also the anniversary is coming up. I don't know. Remember, I think they said it was in October was when it was released. I think it was in October. Yeah, no. So I think that would be next week, that's exciting. I just realized that even though me, Theo, and Caps talked about that already, I'm like, oh yeah, that is a thing. I used to drink soda pretty frequently back in middle school, but then I just stopped drinking it. I have only broken that streak twice to have a Baja Blast and the new Oreo flavored Coke. Was that even good? That sound not to be too judgy, but that kind of sounds awful. Granted, I'm not the biggest Coke fan either. That just doesn't sound good, but kind of the same. I used to drink it like a ton all through middle, high school, and a little bit into college. But then I went, hey, I really want to like lose weight just because like it's impacting like my quality of life and stuff like that. So then I was like, I realized one of the big reasons why I love soda so much was because I was horribly addicted. So I had to break the addiction. So I went cold turkey from it for a few months. And then after those few months, I was like, yeah, I'm pretty okay to just have like one soda once a week, that kind of thing. It's the sort of thing like even like on like my cheat days where I would have like that soda and like fast food or whatever, because that's what I did, because I'm like, I still like this stuff, but I don't want to have it all the time, so I'll just have it once a week. There would be some weeks I'd like get to the end of it and be like, oh, I kind of forgot about my cheat meal. I'll do that next week. It's fine. It's decent. It tastes like Coke, but with an Oreo aftertaste. There's also Coke flavored Oreo. Nah, dog. I'm good. Which tastes straight up like glass bottle Coke, in case you ask. Wait. The Coke flavored Oreo or the Oreo flavored Coke tastes like glass bottle Coke? Because if the Oreo tastes like that, I'm very concerned how the Coke flavored Oreo, how did they get the glass flavoring in there? That doesn't sound... Because normally that glass flavoring comes from the fact that you're drinking it from a glass, you know? The Oreo part, the Oreo having that doesn't sound too great. Anyways, I think I read like half of this. Fall's always been my favorite season as far as I can remember. It's not as hot as summer, and spring's weather changes wildly in a single day. Making the most of the few warm days left of the year, I pass my morning raking up the leaves which have piled up on the path outside the apartment building. No one else in the complex seems interested in this kind of busy work, but I've come to enjoy little chores like this, giving me time to quietly work away in solitude. I all but jump out of my skin as a deafening wolf whistle rings up from behind me, my sense of peace abruptly ruined. Looking behind me as I clutch my rake out of reflex, Tanya hangs out the door of a small parked car, grinning ear to ear. A scarlet-faced Millie desperately attempts to tug her friend back in from the driver's seat.
Good to see you hard at work, Olive.
Tanya, please.
They sure are a pair. It surprises me how someone as proper as Millie befriended someone so... Everything is taught. To be fair, Millie also is friends with Caprice. Granted, they're roommates, so it's technically cheating, but still.
I don't know this woman, I swear.
Come on, I'm just having a bit of fun.
I see you two are full of energy this morning.
Meanwhile, you're doing your best impression of a responsible adult.
I don't think I've seen anyone have less energy than Olive. They are a professional of being low-key. It feels so wrong, but they did it somehow. Like, you bite it and go, this is illegal. That's crazy. I kind of want to try it now. Just to, like, see how real that is. Because, like, you know, me and a lot of people agree that, like, glass bottle flavored sodas or drinks in general tend to be, like, the best. If not, like, you know, right up there. So I can't imagine, like, having, like, glass flavored food. That sounds too interesting to not try. So I might have to, next time I have a cheat day, because I'm currently doing like a huge anti-inflammatory diet, I might need to try that. That sounds weird. The first cookie is very off-putting, but from the second, that makes sense. Like, you kind of bite it, and it's like a shock to your system at first. I mean, like, this shouldn't be how this is. But then, you know, you keep going with it, and it's like, oh, no, it works. It works. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Just an impression, though. I want to say living alone is a hassle due to chores like this piling up, but honestly, I appreciate the mundaneness of it.
Honestly, I can really relate to that. My Saturdays, before I like got injured and everything, was just spent purely doing chores up until around 6 p.m. where I'd have dinner and then go to D&D. Before that, it's just mowing the lawn, doing the dishes, doing my laundry. And it's like, some people would be like, oh, you're doing chores from the time you wake up till 6 p.m. That sounds awful. I'm like, nah, dog, I put on a podcast or an audiobook and I'm vibing.
You don't have a roommate around to help?
Nah, Mom pops over now and again, but it's mostly just me, myself, and I.
Both of them look a little surprised as I shake my head. I hadn't thought of my situation that unusual, but maybe I just got used to it. It's a little unusual. Most people can't afford to have their own
car
place.
Yours, Millie?
Yep, my pride and joy. I was helping my dad restore it since before I could even drive.
Gets quite a workout, too, fearing your roommates around. I'm telling you, you should make the bums get their own licenses.
How dare you say that about Haley and Caprice? Stop that, stop that.
It's not a problem, really. Besides, Caprice started taking the trolley.
Tanya gives her a questioning smile, likely to do with the thing between her and Caprice. They must have a proper beef with each other for it to even affect the logistics of getting around. D&D, duties and dinner. Exactly. My whole day is nothing but D&D, and that's the way I like it. Again, some people think it's weird, but I'm like, no. I spend the whole rest of the week stressed and like running around and moving at 1,000 miles an hour. I just want to chill and listen to some good, like, relaxing stuff while I do all my duties and dinner. It's the best time.
You have a nice place.
The graffiti adds to the aesthetic, yeah.
I mean it, compared to some of the places students live.
She gives a small glance over to Tanya for just a moment, who responds with a dismissive shrug.
How are the neighbors?
The old ones had a dog that loved waking up the complex with this barking every night. They moved out in the last couple months, though, thankfully. Couldn't tell you anything about the new ones.
While we may keep to ourselves, that doesn't mean they don't make their presence known in other ways. The ones above me like loud music with lots of bass. One of the mailboxes is constantly full. Soon as I begin to wonder if the owner of that apartment passed away, the mail mysteriously gets collected overnight. Then the cycle starts all over again. I wonder what they think of me. We all live our lives without talking to each other at all, despite living just inches apart.
So, are we doing this thing? Should be about time we headed off.
Sure, just let me put this away. Thanks again for giving me a lift.
Not at all. It's the least I can do after taking your free time for something like this.
As we roll to a stop and Millie cuts the engine, the occasional honking of impatient cars still navigating the busy streets punctuates the low rumble of the crowds. I'm the first out of the little car, stretching myself out as much as I can, doing my best to shake out the ache of being crammed in that tiny box during rush hour. Millie and Tanya, on the other hand, are entirely unfazed, stepping out with little dramatics. I've never felt embarrassed about stepping out of a car before, but I guess there's a first time for everything. Oh, I didn't pay attention earlier. Who did you approach in the classroom? Are you talking about when they were, like, needing help with, like, getting everything ready, and Millie was like, oh, go help the art club or whatever. It'll only take 5 minutes. Because during that, I definitely helped the art club. Because at first, that's where I was leaning. But then, you know, again, I was convinced for the writing club. And I was like, again, in my brain, I was also like, Millie asked me to do this, so there's no reason to not do this. But then Millie was still mad at me. And then for, like, the Allison and Heather situation, I picked to go talk to Allison because I don't like Heather. She sucks.
Man, downtown's packed today.
All the outlets are probably having clearances before bringing out the winter clothes.
You think Heather and Darren are stuck in traffic? It was pretty blocked up on the way in.
Oh, I hope Darren's not stuck with Heather. That sounds awful.
Where's this signing at, anyway?
bookstore is a bit of a hike up the road from here, but this is probably the closest parking spot we're going to get. The forecast called for a chance of rain today. I hope they get here soon.
I can't say I've ever been to a book signing. It's rare I even go to a bookstore these days unless you count the one on campus. I can see the appeal, and so not going to a bookstore hurts my heart. I love bookstores. Even if I don't go in to buy anything most of the time, I just like being there. I've been the passenger to so many book trips, and it's the best. I can see the appeal insofar as being able to meet an important person face to face. Same goes for sports autographs, even if I've never been into that either. It also feels like the kind of thing a writing club is supposed to do. Heather sucks, but that's why she's cool. It's fun to hate her, Lamau. Like when the character is just an unapologetic capital B, it's fun. Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I don't actually have anything like against Heather, but she is fun to hate. Because she's just so obviously written to just be obnoxious and rude and stuff. Like, you know, it's not like she's accidentally written that way, which makes it more fun to hate her, you know? So I'm like so down for her presence, but that doesn't mean I don't feel bad for Darren if he is stuck with her. So I feel terrible for him. Cause like that car ride's either complete silence or just Heather sucking the whole time. So as new to the club as I might be, I can't shake the feeling that there's a difference between what a writing club should do and what our club members might want to do. Our attention is distracted from the people hugging their coats by the sharp pinging coming from Millie. Tanya and I wait in silence as she pulls the phone from her pocket and reads the incoming message.
It's Darren.
So, where is he?
Looks like he's not coming.
No, why not?
Huh. Seemed like such an eager beaver, too. Did he say why?
Millie shakes her head.
I'll just be a minute. Going to give Heather a call.
It was probably because of Heather. Exactly as I thought. Darren is great. Best trans mask rep I've seen in media, not gonna lie. See, that's like how I'm feeling it's going to turn out, because like with how they've written every other character, and like Darren hasn't been in too much of it, but by the end of it, I'm like 1000% sure I'll agree with you. Like that's, you know, based on you saying it and based on how they handle other characters, I'm like, yeah, no, they're definitely going to be. So, hang on, water. I don't know why my mouth's so dry. I'm not even like, I'm trying to think of like other reps of it that I can think of. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I'm sure I've seen some though. Some representation somewhere. I just can't think of any. But regardless, I'm still sure that they'll do like that, that Darren will be great in this. Tanya and I exchange a brief glance as Millie steps away, tapping away on her phone before bringing it to her ear. The two of us watch and wait, Millie fiddling with her braid as she talks. She looks surprisingly pensive despite her efforts to hide it. After what feels like minutes though was likely only seconds, she gives a couple of quick nods before tapping the phone to hang up. With that, she shoves her phone back into her bag with a sigh before returning to us.
Well,
she's not coming either.
Of course she isn't. Why am I not surprised? Let me guess. Heather ruined it for the both of them. Tanya and I let out a long sigh. After all that build-up, this whole thing's a bust.
should we head out on our own then?
Millie smiled a sad smile.
Maybe another time. I won't drag you two in there. It's not much of a club outing if the
Millie,
club isn't here.
Stop it. I would love to hang out with you and Tanya. That sounds like a pleasant way to spend the day. Stop it. I debate pushing back, if for no other reason than to soothe my guilt, but Tanya perks up before I get the chance, swiping away at her phone. Tanya flashes her screen at the two of us triumphantly, offering us salvation through a silent declaration. The usual spot, 24/7 happy hour, midweek specials. Not quite what I was imagining. Yeah, same.
It's not even 10.
Please be the buzzkill of this. Please be the buzzkill.
Adorable.
Should've.
Sure, why not?
I can only stare in stunned silence at Millie's response. She's quick to notice, giving me a sheepish laugh.
I mean, I wasn't super optimistic about today anyway, if I'm being honest. No point in getting too worked up about it. This sounds as good a backup plan as any.
I feel like this, like a lot of Millie's route is just going to be me feeling bad for Millie, who does nothing but put her 100% into something that no one but her cares about, but she needs other people to care about it for it to actually, like, work, you know? I feel like that's going to be a lot of it, because I already feel so sad that these plans fell through, that Darren wasn't able to come, that Heather didn't come, like kind of just, like, completely brought her down. I'm like, I feel like that's going to be a lot of this. Millie turns to her car, eager to get going and break eye contact. Needing no further prompting, Tanya practically skips over, crawling over the passenger seat into the back.
Should I drop you back off at your apartment, or will you be joining us? No pressure.
I'd love to join you, even if I don't drink. No pressure, she says, waiting patiently by her door, smiling wide. With a sigh, I start making my way towards the passenger side door. The warm hum of people chattering and glasses clinking fills the air, each of us sitting on our stools before the counter. I feel a little like a fish out of water here, but seeing Millie and Tanya casually chatting between themselves helps things feel a bit more comfortable. In hand, a cheap beer, one largely inoffensive as far as taste goes. The sheer variety of alcohol to try is a bit intimidating, so I decide to stick with what I know. Tanya's grabbed a simple beer as well, while Millie sips on some bright blue concoction.
Looks intense.
It's not. I just drink it for the flavor.
I'd hope so, with how fast she's managed to empty her glass so far.
So you two are regulars.
Whoever plays Olive is the best way to put it, is giving such a great performance at selling the sheer awkward introverted energy that they have. It's not called the unusual spot for nothing. Oh, that's so true. Listen. Tanya even pulled it up really fast. It clearly is their usual spot, so oh, that's so funny. I would honestly love it though if like Caps was just kind of like, yeah, like listen, that's why we named it that, just because, you know, it's the spot they go to. So I was like, I can't think of a name, it's called the usual spot. That'd be so good.
Regulars makes it sound like we come here all the time.
And that's when Tanya goes, well, we do. Tanya's awkward face doesn't go unnoticed. I think this is the second bar I've ever been to, but it seems like a comfortable place. Beneath old photos of the town on the wood-trimmed walls, the patrons all look clean-cut and on the younger side. Maybe that's the appeal for Millie and Tanya. They fit the scene well. In the end, it's just a bunch of people relaxing, which is how it should be. The prices aren't bad either, or I don't think they are. I don't have much of a frame of reference. I'm glad Millie's mood has improved, but I can't help stress at least a little about our current situation. Given why I joined the club in the first place, this isn't a stellar second impression.
So,
I start without really thinking, drawing Millie and Tanya's eyes to me.
You didn't seem that surprised about the attendance today.
Unironically, that was a super smooth save. Listen, if I've started a conversation a few times that way, and then I just go, haha, I forgot what I was gonna say. They smooth that over so easily. That's about as tame as I could have worded that. Millie's face flattens before I get the opportunity to pat myself on the back, though. Oh, I'm glad that they're proud of themselves, too.
This may surprise you, but Heather isn't consistent.
What? No.
You don't say.
Tanya punctuates that with a snort.
And, well, I know you're friends, so please don't take this the wrong way, but Darren's a new recruit. I don't have much of a read on him yet.
I think you're really overestimating how close we are.
Oh, really? When you walked in together, I just assumed you invited a tag-along.
Nope. We talked a bit and shared a few classes in high school, but that's as far as it ever went, really. Just a really weird coincidence.
That being said, it does feel weird to have Darren miss something like this already, when he was supposedly staking out the club before I was. The three of us sit on that for a minute. Especially, yeah, with, like, Darren, like, seeming to be, like, very into the club. Like, having written down everything Millie did, like, as soon as, like, she was putting it down, you know? So it does seem a little bit weird that he would be missing. None of us quite sure where to take the conversation from there.
Ugh, those two are a pain in the ass.
Tanya?
Well, it's not like I'm innocent either.
Go on.
I'm just here because I need the help to pass my English course. I don't have a creative bone in my body.
Huh? Is that all it is?
You sound disappointed.
As opposed to Millie, who just looks
I
disappointed.
thought it was gonna be something saucier.
Like what? Like what?
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. There's not a saucy bone in my body either.
That's a great line. I need to start saying that to people.
Well, for what it's worth, I appreciate you coming out today anyway.
Millie smiles, but I don't need my glasses to see how strained it is. Tanya must pick up on it too, signaling down the barkeep to refill her friend's drink.
I'd appreciate you not trying to get her driver drunk before noon.
I live for Olive's sheer snark. Listen. It's been great. They have, like, the deadpan character just say, "Oh, just be this snarky already." It's been so fun. Tanya doesn't bother to offer me anything past a roll of her eyes and a smirk. Oh, that's such a great face on Tanya. Millie looks down on her mostly empty glass, her smile softening to one decidedly more genuine. Oh, I just started rereading your message. Before I was like, oh wait, I already read that.
Sure. What harm could one more round do?
Hey, Millie, no drunk driving. A new round of drinks arrives, and Tanya orders the table some bar food to soak up the alcohol I'm so worried about, she teases. As Millie and Tanya laugh together, chatting about some movie I've never heard of or a teacher they have together, something feels a bit off. When the conversation lulls, I catch a glance of Millie looking down at her drink, brow furrowed and lips pursed. The moment Tanya pipes up again, it disappears, but never quite completely. I try to shake the feeling. I don't know Millie that well to analyze her behavior, and don't even know what I'd say if I could. For whatever it's worth, Tanya is able to keep pulling back Millie from whatever depth of thoughtfulness she keeps sinking into, even if she needs alcohol to do it. Time passes quickly, and before I know it, it's been over an hour since we got here. I leave some cash for my order and tip before I almost said executing myself, before excusing myself. That's how that word was written. Millie has been handling herself well, looking alert and sober since switching to soda a bit earlier. I still decline when she offers me a ride back, though. Good job. Stepping into the frigid air and daylight, I have to squint to see. The overcast sky from this morning has been replaced with a typical sunny afternoon. With nothing more to do, I head back to my apartment. Hopefully I'll still be able to do something more productive today. One week later. Oh, we're going really far into the future. Okay. Millie's handwriting reads more like an alien language as I squint and concentrate to make out her sentences. What might have started as cursive has devolved into a scrawl, as if the pen were desperately trying to keep up with her train of thought.
What's all this?
Editor's notes.
Do you have them in English?
Could you imagine if a VN was this atmospheric and then it just fades to black in the text? With the text, I got bored, so I executed myself, and the credits roll. That is an insane misread. Listen. One of, I think, the most interesting parts of streaming is that you learn a lot about yourself. And in streaming, I've learned that I think I might be dyslexic, because I do a lot of misreads like that non-stop. But it's only with visual novels, as far as I know, because people can't call me out for my misreadings when I'm just reading a book, because how would you do that? But whenever we do these visual novels reading, I'll just say a word, and then everyone else will be like, what do you mean by that? That's just not what that word is. And it's like, sorry. But unironically, I kind of want to make a visual novel now just for the sole purpose of doing that. Just having it be like the best visual novel you could ever imagine. And then like 3 hours into it, it's just, and then I executed myself. And then the credits just start. That'd be awesome. That'd be so funny. Please, that is one of my new life goals, because I've wanted to make a visual novel for a while, for like a few years at this point. Just kind of like so I can brainstorm ideas and everything, and like learning more about the process before I ever like try anything with it. Because obviously that's like an insane amount of work, and you need like everything ready. Not everything ready, but like be prepared for it. So I wanna really get into it, and that'd be a banger way to start. And it'd be real easy too. Well, not really easy to have it like be incredible for the first couple hours, because obviously that's so much hard work, and you know you have to have a lot of people with like a lot of skill and a lot of talent, people who know relatively what they're doing or are willing to put in the work to learn it. But we only need to do a few hours, and then the story is dead. So I'm also writing a visual novel myself, and got the first act fit. Oh, but now I'm trying to muster the motivation to pass it to Renpai. I've watched a lot of Renpai tutorials, and I've seen a lot of people say that same thing of like, I finished a lot of stuff, but I just don't know Renpai, so I haven't put it in there yet. I haven't like gotten into it, and that's so fun. That's so funny. That's just like the consensus, but that's really cool. Like if you don't mind sharing, okay, obviously like if you don't want to share anything about it, then don't. But if you're like, hey, like this is what it's about, or like this is like the name of it, and you want to share that, then absolutely feel free to, because I love talking to people about like the stuff that they're working on, like the creative stuff that they like to do. I don't know why I struggle so much to like formulate that sentence, but I did. With my story writing complete, Millie decided it best to go over things in more detail after the club. But again, I should specify that if you don't want to share anything and want to keep it all under wraps, that's totally fine, and I respect that. The outdoor seating was also her idea, even if the small tables make trying to sift through this mess even more of a hassle. Given how extensive her notes are, any optimism I may have had has been quickly dashed. I know you can't expect perfection immediately, but even if the professor was half as thorough as Millie, it'd still pretty handily be a failing mark. Blah, blah, blah. I can read. Slouching into my uneven seat, I rock it back and forth as I mull my situation over. Our cups of coffee steam away on the table between us, Millie's bright face watching my own. It's been a week since a failed outing. With a couple of club meetings happening since then, if she's annoyed or sad about what happened, she hasn't shown it. Even now, she smiles widely while waiting for a response to our writing critique. That's only made the charade of the writing club meetings all the weirder. Just another week of everyone silently ignoring the elephant in the room, that nobody actually cares about any of this. Oh, this is going to make me really sad because that's all that this route's going to be about. I take up my cup of coffee, and try to think over my writing.
That's the look of concentration I wanted to see. I knew you'd get into this. What's on your mind?
Oh, I don't mind at all. I even plan to present it to Studio Lawn and test my luck. Absolutely good luck. Listen. You will have me in your corner doing that, because I just love seeing people like get their work out there and working on that. So all kudos to you. But even if they don't like it enough to want to work on it, I'll still make it happen. Let's go. It's called Sights to Hear, Yuri VN, about a blind girl learning to deal with social expectations and distress. That sounds so interesting. Especially like thinking of like the visuals of like a visual novel about a blind character. You know, obviously depending on if it's from like their perspective or not, or if it's from a perspective of another character who's just like being there with them. But that's really, really interesting. I'm just now sitting here lost in thought about it, being like, that's so cool. It's told as a POV, so there's 0 visuals. Wait. Hang on, you're cooking so hard right now. Hang on. So there's no visuals. I want this to be an interactive sound-based story for immersion. That's so cool. Because like I really like it when stuff will be like, oh, you have like a deaf character So like when it's like their part of the story, you don't have like any sound or anything like that. Like I love stuff that like really does get you immersed into it. Because I was actually sitting there like, well, if the main character, like the main POV is blind, how would visuals work? But like it won't. It'll all just be about like sound design and sound direction and stuff like that. Like that's sick. Yeah, no, you super got me in your corner on this, because that sounds, I don't know if there's ever been a visual novel that's done, as far as I know. Like I'm not like super versed in visual novels, but I've never heard of something doing something like that. It's like that's super cool. Do you have like any like specific reason, like what like popped that into like your like what like what's the word? Oh gosh, I think my tired brain's starting to come out. What inspired that? Because that sounds like really, really cool. Just like the whole like concept in general and it being about a blind character.
Nothing you want to hear.
Try me.
That these glasses are giving me a headache.
Millie's face. Millie pouts as I grumble to myself, but it soon gives way to a small giggle.
I promise you contacts are worse, but you do what you gotta do to maintain appearances. Now, how about we get back on track?
Recognizing that my attempts at avoiding this any further have been thoroughly squashed, I return to Millie's notes with a sigh.
Almost everything here is covered in corrections and fixes. Actually, I think you've written more than I did in the first place.
Yeah, but it's like a first draft of a story. That's how it goes.
I appreciate the effort you're putting in, but man, it's hard to stay optimistic about this. What chance do you think I have here, honestly?
Are you going to do a second draft with all the notes?
Well, sure. I won't be starting from scratch, so this should be doable by next week's meeting.
Then you'll be fine.
Wow, she sold her confidence really well considering how much of a non-answer that was. Still, it feels like I'm doing the bare minimum. This is all any of the others should be doing. When I think about it like that, I start getting annoyed. Oh, I love that Olive's getting annoyed about it all. After taking a sip of her drink, Millie takes her little worn notebook and adds something in her hurried handwriting. Perhaps a note about her tutoring or an idea for her own writing. As she finishes, she notices my glancing.
Keeping a notebook handy means I can quickly jot down my thoughts when inspiration strikes. You should try it. I think it'd really help you.
Don't know how much use I'd get out of a notebook filled with nothing but bad ideas.
Olive is a light, an inspiration, the most optimistic person in the story, and I love them for it. I've done copious amounts of research on lifestyles, practices, and whatnot, and got a blind beta reader to help me check the tastefulness of all my writing, and so far it's going... That's really cool, especially specifically the blind beta reader, because like, so check for like tastefulness, because a lot of people will write stories about people like with disabilities or about disabilities in general, not do any of that, and then people with the actual disabilities will be like, hey, you've kind of horribly misrepresented us and made us like way into like in something that's like kind of not, and you're not representing like us who have it very well. So that's like really cool. And then like that, like the doing the copious amounts of research, like I don't know, that just sounds like really like fun, like not like necessarily fun, but it is always like cool when writers actually do that. Because again, like writers will often be like, I'm going to write about this topic that I don't know anything about and not do any research. Because like that's something that people don't really understand about like writing and writing about stuff that like you don't directly like live through. Think it might be a good way to say it. Like don't have like 100% full experience with, and you want to like write in a realistic immersive experience, is that you have to do like a lot of research, whether it be about like, oh, I want to be in a city like this, I have to do research into cities like this, or I want to have a character to have this kind of thing, so I need to do research about like whatever trait I'm trying to give them, you know? So that's really cool.
Bad ideas are fine. Most of my notebook is junk I never end up using. But the few diamonds in the rough, sometimes even just a few words, can be enough to build on. Maybe it'll help you get into a creative mindset, too.
Millie may well be right. For some reason, saying Millie may well is really hard. She probably is, but that doesn't mean I feel any sort of connection to what she's saying. It's like receiving a lengthy and thought-out lecture in clear and precise terms, all perfectly delivered in hieroglyphs. You know, Olive, if you just used your inner monologue for your writing, it would work so well. I will give her that she has patience of a saint to be helping me like this. She seems to enjoy the chance to talk about the mechanics of writing with someone who cares, even if it's only out of necessity.
So, what are you trying to say with all this?
Think of it like art. Instead of trying to make a gallery-worthy portrait off the bat, you're sketching out rough ideas to try different concepts from different angles.
Not the first example I expect to come to her mind, given the circumstance.
You don't even have to show anyone. Just try describing an interesting person. Plot out a fun scene in a movie, or emulate an interesting passage you saw in a book. I think that's where you're getting tripped up, trying to write full stories right from the start without being comfortable with the act of writing itself. Without a solid foundation, the whole building falls apart.
Yup, preach it, preach it.
And how long am I gonna be doing these sketches?
As long as you're writing, of course. It's a critical part of the process, no matter how experienced you are.
Unable to contain my excitement, I drink the rest of my increasingly lukewarm coffee. As dispirited as I might feel from her feedback, at least it's a sense of direction. I'm not left wallowing in misery, even if I don't make it in the end. Looking up at her face, brimming with excitement at the prospect of making meaningless scraps of writing over and over for weeks or months ahead, I can't help but feel out of place next to her. It isn't just her either. Darren's ability to scrawl away about esoteric subjects, even as a freshman, still taunts me, and even Heather seems comfortable jotting down this and that to keep her studious leader off her back.
Hey, Millie?
At first I was just trying to think of a story outline to just do something rather than paying attention in class, and I was like, well, this will probably be a solo job. I'm still not that good at drawing, and while thinking about who to commission or how to draw things, everything just clicked. Like, the story idea came to mind, and I was like, hold on, I'm kind of you are cooking. That sounds like one of the coolest, like, in terms of, like, visual novel kind of stuff, like, that sounds like one of the coolest, like, ideas. Like, I generally don't think I've ever heard of anyone doing that. I was willing to draw or pay for the artwork, but then this came to mind. I just knew I had to make it happen. Yeah, it's sort of like... The example that I like to use, even though it's a game I haven't played, is like Majora's Mask. It's sort of like the idea of, like, having a limitation and then, like, incorporating that in a really cool way. Like, you're thinking about, like, still not that good at drawing or, like, commissioning people. Like, these things that you're willing to do, but then you go, well, wait, but if it's from, like... if the story is like this, then, like, these other things don't really need to happen. So it's like... the going away from needing art has like pushed you into like this really, really cool concept. Like, no, that like makes a ton that makes a ton of sense. And yeah, no, keep cooking with it because you're cooking hard on that.
Yes?
I know I'm at least partially to blame, and I really appreciate it, but how do you find so much energy to devote to this? Writing in general, I mean.
The question takes her a little off guard, breaking through her lecturing attitude as she thoughtfully sets down her drink.
Why write, huh? I suppose that I could say something corny, like creativity brings out the best in people, or something. Spin some tale about the power of the great author's writings, opening one's mind and taking us on wild adventures.
I'm waiting for the bite.
I'm getting there. My earliest memories are of my mother reading to me. We read a lot together, even as I grew up. Maybe it's a little selfish, but I wanted to hold on to that feeling. Maybe even share that sense of companionship with others, making our own personal connections through reading and writing together. That's what this club is supposed to be, a place for individuals to get together and offer each other glimpses into themselves to maybe find a speck of common interest to nurture and grow. Or, well, that's what I thought.
It hurts a little to see her wistful smile slowly fade, reality seeping in through the cracks in her carefully maintained idealism.
I guess it didn't quite work out that way.
That was heavier than I expected from a question intended to simply fill the air.
No reason why it still can't be.
I guess she was expecting something more defeatist from me, given the surprise on her face.
No, of course. Thanks for the reminder.
For what it's worth, I'm glad you managed to find a hobby that means so much to you.
We all have our vices.
Taking my coffee in one hand, I grab my backpack from the ground and sling it over my shoulder as I rise to my feet.
Where are you off to?
Much as I'd love to stay and talk more, I also like being able to pay rent, so I'm off to the diner for the evening shift. See you tomorrow, Millie. Oh, and sorry about the grumbling. Just haven't found my footing yet. I'll have a proper look over your notes when I get home and start working on a second draft.
It's no problem. Make sure you buy a notebook sometime. A proper one. Spoil yourself. I'm sure it'll help.
Talking about this is getting me pumped up to continue writing, but I really want to get a tech demo up and running before I write Act 2. Like, I gotta figure out the UI, audio work, and stuff, as it'll be even more important here than in anything else I could have done. At least I got a VA for the love interest, but I haven't locked one in for the protagonist because POV, there'll be a lot of recording inner monologue. Yeah, no, like especially with like the main character, you really need to figure out like their voice, because that's the main voice you're gonna hear. Like, it can't, like, you need to put like the most time into like figuring that one out. You need to find the right person, you know, to read again, like you're saying, like all of the inner like not all the inner monologues, but just like recording inner monologue stuff. That's awesome to hear. That's getting you pumped up. See, that's one of the reasons I love talking to people about this kind of stuff, because it also gets me pumped up to be like, yeah, I love doing this stuff, so it gets me pumped up to want to do it more. Like, again, as soon as like my hands and everything's better, like I'm gonna be right back on the grindstone. Not probably a little lighter than I was doing it before, of just writing and drawing and everything like that. I'm so ready for it. But that's like, I was imagining like just like a UI of just like, here's a text box with like words in it. I'm trying to think of like how the UI would, like the best way to incorporate a UI for like a game like that. And yeah, no, for sure, the audio stuff, like the audio work, like the atmosphere you set with the audio, or like how the sound, like just the sound design in general, is going to be so important in something like this when you don't have like the visuals to it. Like it'll need to be like pretty good. So I can totally like understand like why getting like a tech demo for that would be like hard to do. But I also think like if you're like very passionate about it, and like it seems like you absolutely like super duper are, like you've got this. I fully believe. With that, I give her a curt wave and start off out of the cafe. I can't say today was exactly productive, but I suppose I should count myself lucky that Millie's taking this tutoring seriously. Looking back, I see Millie taking her notebook in hand to take yet more notes to herself. I wonder if anyone else gives it much thought.
Death.
Yeah, all of death.
Death comes for me.
Oh, don't be so dramatic.
Death. No, but they're so real for that after doing like school stuff and then going straight to work. Death. She flicks my hand with she flicks my back with a hand towel, but I barely flinch. I've had some long days here, but today was crazy even by our standards. I shouldn't complain. A lot of people my age can't even get a job, and having my mom around does make things better. I get along fine with the other staff too, though. We rarely actually share a shift. I can't bring myself to eat burgers, though. Not after making them one after another for hours on end every shift. You know what? That's the most I haven't, like, this is the least I've been able to relate to Olive. When I used to work in kitchens, I'd make hundreds of burgers a day, and then I'd, go, you know what? I make a banging burger, and then I'd go have one myself. And you know what? My burgers got constant compliments. People loved my burgers. Every single time, like, any of the managers would need, like, a lunch break, they'd be like, hey, listen, you're making my burger. I like what you do. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I make some pretty banging burgers. So can't relate. Mom visibly reassesses her snark after I push myself off the counter and look up to her. Guess I'm not hiding the exhaustion well. Not like I was really trying to.
Thanks for your work, dear. It was a rough day, but you got through.
I'm going to sleep forever when I get home.
I don't know about forever, but you've earned yourself a good rest.
She looks to me for a moment before shuffling herself into a booth, patting the seat next to her. Eager for an excuse to rest my feet, I oblige.
Are you okay, Ollie?
I'm fine. Just tired.
No point in complaining to her. It's not like mom can change anything. When I think about it, I think most of my problems come down to feeling like I have no control over my life right now. Yeah, that's fair. You kind of don't. I've never worked in a kitchen, but I love cooking and are really good at it. Let's go. Cooking is one of those skills that like I feel like everyone should at least be like decent at. So like if you're good at it, that's a big notch. Is notch in your belt the right expression? Isn't notch in your belt like it's a good thing to have? I feel like it is. If notch in your belt isn't a good expression, I mean it as a good one. That's a good notch to have in your belt, because that's just a good thing to be like good at and like to like doing. Because like I'm the same way unless I'm with my friends. As soon as I'm with like my group of friends, it's like I suddenly don't know what I'm doing anymore, to the point of like when I'm with my like one group of friends, I'll mess up on cooking and they think I can't do anything, like they think I can't cook at all, and then I'll go and tell like my other friends and family about it, and they'll be like, what are they talking about? You're a great cook. You cook for you cook for us, and I've loved everything you've made. And it's like I know my brain just turns off when I'm with them. It doesn't work. But it's like I'm Mexican. We're born with cooking bones. You know what? That's fair. That's fair. You got me on that one. I don't have those. I do basic good cooking, I think. Question? No, you know what? No, I'll just say I think I also cook good, but you know what? That's also very fair. What? I was about to make a terrible joke. I was gonna be like, yeah, you know, you do got those cooking bones. I do love Costa Vida and Del Taco, but I'm like, even I know that that's not even remotely close to the same thing. But I was like, that'd be a good joke to say. It'd piss some people off, I'm sure. No point in complaining to her. It's not like mom can change. Oh wait, read that. With so few cooks and mom already overworked, I have to fill in when I can at the diner. Then there's the fact that all my time between sleep, school, and work is filled with frantic studying just to keep up with the others in my class.
How is school going? You said that you joined a new club, right?
Yeah, the writing club. It's a bit weird, but at least it'll help me get the credits I need.
A bit weird?
They show up whenever they feel like it and barely even pretend to work while they're around. The supervising professor doesn't bother attending at all while the leader is... well, she tries her hardest. I wish I had an ounce of the passion she has, whether for writing or anything else. It'd make this a lot easier.
Sounds like she's an admirable person.
She is. That's what bugs me.
Oh, you think she's being taken advantage of?
Yeah, no, for sure she is. Oh yeah, yo quiero Taco Bell. Exactly. I do in fact have a Taco Bell like right down the street, you know? So it's like, it's right there. It's the same thing, you know? When I go and order those not nacho fries, I think is what they have. I don't actually eat a Taco Bell often, or at all really. I think I've been there like twice. But you know, they have the nacho fries, genuine Mexican cuisine right there. When people learn I'm Mexican, I really surprise them when I say that Jack in the Box tacos are kind of fire. Jack in the Box has tacos. I always get some when I go to the US. I didn't even know that they had those. I thought it was just like, you know, like a burger place, like a Carl's Jr. or something like that, you know? Like a Carl's Jr. or like, you know, like McDonald's but not McDonald's, where it's just like, here's like burgers or like chicken tenders or fries, you know? I didn't know that they even had tacos. I might have to try that. Because I do actually love me some good tacos and burritos and stuff like that. And like unironically with like stuff like Costa Vida, the sweet pork burritos, to die for. I just wish that they weren't made on I think white flour, made with white flour. Otherwise, on this diet I'm doing, I'd be having those every day. It'd be incredible. So yeah, I'll definitely have to try the Jack in the Box stuff, the Jack in the Box tacos.
Yeah. Everyone shows up, but doesn't bother putting in any effort. She must know that, but she just smiles through it.
I think that's what bothered me so much about her tutoring. Am I taking advantage of her enthusiasm like the others? The only reason I'm in the club is to pass my exams after all. As I think to myself, I notice a familiar smile on Mom's face. The same she gave me as a child, whenever she saw through a petty lie. Whenever she saw what I was actually saying.
I'm sure she'd be happy to see you care so much.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I have a future in writing after all, with how easy with how easy I apparently am to read.
Either way, it sounds to me like the club being all on the same page would help the both of you out quite a bit.
Same page. Get it, writing.
Do you think I should be doing something about it?
That's for you to figure out. You know best. All I'm saying is that sometimes doing things we're not used to is a good thing. Life would be awfully boring if we all stayed the same our whole lives, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, I almost forgot. If you need any time off work for club things, just tell me. I'm sure you can pull some strings.
I cringe a little at her overacted wink. I love August. She's incredible. I have no doubt Mom's doing what she thinks is best for me, but I couldn't possibly ask that of her. She's already run off her feet just to make ends meet. Not that she'd tell me so. There's an unwritten understanding between us that we're both in this together. Writing might not come naturally to me, but I guess I owe it to Millie to do what I can for the club. It feels wrong to use it to pass my exams and bounce and leave them to their fate. Somehow it feels like an even steeper slope to climb than all the other stresses in my life right now. The funniest detail about August is how her birthday is near the end of July. Oh, that's, I mean, you know, that's probably how she gets her name after all. Like, imagine if your parents were like, oh, here, it's our baby girl. What are we gonna name them? And they're like, well, you know, August is coming up. That's my favorite month of the year. And they're like, that works. But imagine if she was born in like December or something, like a winter baby. And they're like, yeah, you know, with the upcoming fall so soon, let's name her August. Yeah. But yeah, no, that is a really fun detail. I also do just love that they're like all very like, that's actually what the reasoning behind her birthday. That's incredible. I love silly little goofy details like that. Oh no way. I noticed this Olive. I completely blanked on the main character's name. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Olive. On Olive's little their symbol right there. But the fact that we have like a one for Millie too, and then I'm guessing that obviously if we picked Caprice's route, then we'd have like a little Caprice next to it. That's so freaking cute. I'm in love with this game. It's so good. Like, I don't know, obviously like it's gonna take a little bit for me to like these characters as much as like the crew from First Snow, but like especially with Millie, like I love seeing passion. So like the passion that she's putting into this club, I'm like, yes, let's go, you've got this, I believe in you. And I'm also getting as annoyed as Olive is that like Millie's so clearly being taken advantage of. I'm like, we can't keep letting this happen. So like, let's say if it gives us a choice of like, hey, tell everyone to shape up and do their work or do nothing, I'm hitting that shape up button so fast. You're gonna love Haley too. Gonna, I already do. What do you mean? Listen, I will be joining you in the Haley Stan fan club because like every interaction that they have with Olive is so good, so good. Even more. Okay, that's understandable. Because you know, obviously, I'm gonna get to know them more, and like every single time we get to interact with Haley, my love for her will obviously just get like, you know, it'll grow and grow. Because I know I've said it as a joke a few times. It's sort of like how like with Please Be Happy, I'm like, hey guys, like if we could get like a Lena route or something, that'd be awesome. But with here, it's like, you know, if we did get a Haley route though, like I wouldn't be opposed to that. Like they're so fun already, and I love like her relationship and dynamic with Olive a lot. But I think right there is going to be a good place to end it for tonight. We've gone through a pretty decent bit. We've gone through the. Also, is this a Ezra? Okay, for a second there I was like, wait, is this like a special kind of emote I'm looking at right here? Hang on, I don't have my glasses on. So I can't. Oh, I love it. That's very cute. But I think that's a good place to end it for tonight. We made a lot of progress. we made it through the prologue. We made a decent bit into chapter 1. I'm assuming a decent amount of progress. I have no idea. Let's bribe Caps and Theo to make a Haley route. I'm so down. Listen, I'll DM them about it tonight. they're gonna appreciate that, you know. That with like they're so like free right now. They'd love to work on that. Listen, I already tried to get them to make a sequel series or a sequel visual novel to Twofold, and like they were just jumping at it. They were so ready to get back into another project. So, you know, I'm so down to bribe them for it. So we'll have to do that. We'll have to do that. Wait. Hang on, I just looked at my tags. Why do I have trigger warning and dark fantasy? Why do I have those up? Hang on. Let me look at my tags really quick. Oh, what the freak? I could have sworn I had those not like that. That's weird. That's weird. I didn't think I had that since Without a Voice or... No, with the Tith and Blood. Theo saw a picture of the most miserable breakfast I've ever made and said that if they made a Haley route, then they would make a scene where they make Haley cook them for no reason other than their own amusement. See, that's what I love about everyone who works at Studio Lawn or even around Studio Lawn, is they're just like, listen, I think that this would be funny. Even if no one else gets it, I'm putting it in for my own amusement. They're so based and real for that one. That's why they're such a great... That's one of the many reasons they're such a great company, is because they're just in tune with people, or they're just like, hey, listen, I want to make stuff that I like or would like to read, so that's what I'm gonna do. And then they just cook and they just do it, you know? But yeah, no, we'll definitely be back here. Would you mind if I ping you in the server? Oh, no, absolutely go for it. Please do. I'd be so down for that. Because if it's the most miserable breakfast ever, I need to see that. Because if you're gonna ping me right now, I could react to it live for everyone. I won't show it. But if you want me to react to it like on stream, then I'm super down to do that before we end. Because that would be really funny. Because yeah, no. There. Okay, hang on. Let me pull up a Discord really quick. Blonk. Discord? Hello? In the generals. Wait. Wait. Hang on, the picture for it isn't coming up. I clicked on... Oh, there it is. For some reason it took me... Okay. To explain what happened there is it took me to, like, just below it. So I had to scroll up a little bit to see it. Oh, that's so... You have the plastic cheese and some... To be fair, your eggs look pretty good, though. I've made so many eggs. I'm so not good at it, and they don't even really taste that good. But your eggs look like fire, though. It's just that cheese. It's just the American cheese. The biggest disgrace to the American culture is that cheese, and so it's like, I don't know about that. Oh, at least you're also aware that's the most miserable breakfast that you've ever had. Oh, that's so funny. I thought it was just other people calling it miserable, but you know what? You're self-aware, so that's what matters. That's what matters. That's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, no. Tomorrow we'll be back to be doing some reactions to Epic the Musical, which I'm really excited for because it's like my new complete and total obsession. On Sunday we'll be finishing up The Headwell Lost for realsies this time. We're going to be finishing all of the bonus content, and then we'll be done with that, which does make me really sad because it's so good. It's incredible. And then we'll be back next week for Women Wednesday to play more of this. Because of that one picture, it became a signature for my meals in the server to have a slice of American cheese and Yellowstone keychain on the side. Wait, I didn't even notice the Yellowstone keychain. There's also a pinned message from me in general. Yeah, there's the pinned messages. Oh, the keychain isn't in the picture. It came after. Oh, okay. I was looking at it being like, I simply think that I might be blind. Yeah, I clicked on the pin message that you, like the... Oh, wait, not the pin message. Because you just pinged me. I'm not seeing it in the pin messages, though. Oh, wait, the cheese of shame. Oh, are you talking about when you slapped that video of when you slapped the cheese on Mimo? Is that what you're talking about? Because I remember seeing that a while ago and just laughing at, like, the absurdity of it all. Not at all understanding the context. That's so good. Oh, unsurprisingly, it's funnier with context. That's crazy how that works. Cause like, how long ago was that? Hang on, I was just scrolling through all the pinned messages. Cause like, I'm such a boomer brain when it comes like using like technology and stuff. I have no idea how Discord works. I'm so bad at it. So like, oh. Just a few months ago. Okay, yeah, that was around the time like I like got it here. Like, yeah, that makes sense. That's so funny. Hang on. I'm watching it. Plop. And then the fall over too. And then the keychain. Let's go. Oh, that's awesome. That's based. Oh. But yeah, with that being said, everyone, the main reason I'm stopping right now, like I would love to keep going more, is that I'm just very tired and I'm falling asleep. And if I didn't have work tomorrow, though, I'd still be down to do more. But thank you so much for everyone who came out tonight. Thank you so much for Tracy. It's been so much fun talking with you about like your visual novel and like getting to read Twofold with you. That was a fun stream, but it very much is past your bedtime. Yeah, that understandable. This is a late stream. We didn't start it till like 8 p.m. my time, so I understand it being late for everyone else. That's why I don't begrudge people for like coming in for 5 seconds and then being like, I gotta go. Go eat, you silly. That's the plan. I'm gonna go to bed, I promise. But yeah, thank you so much for coming out and talking with me about your visual novel and all that, and with the Twofold and everything. With that being said, go get Eepy yourself. Also, hi, seems you now know the Tracy lore. Yeah, I know the deep, intricate Tracy lore of the cheese. Oh, wannabe weep. I was just reading the messages as Tracy. Thank you so much for being here too. Yeah, no, I know the deep lore of Tracy, so now I can sleep well. But yeah, thank you guys so much for an awesome stream. It was so much fun. With that being said, I'll see all you lovely people in the next one. Bye-bye.